What is up? Ghosts and Guardians, welcome back. Not to just the normal Ghost and Guardians you know every Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, but it's after dark. Ghost and Guardians After Dark. It's something me and Gil are trying out. We're pretty excited. Obviously, I'm not by myself. Paracausal co-host Gil.
Dirt.
The idea here, guys, is that, look, I love Destiny 2. We play it pretty much every day. Even if it's just a little bit. I literally hopped on today and played I don't know, like two games of Trials. Just because one of my clanmates was like, "Hey, can you play with me and a friend?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" It was awesome. It was super fun. Loved it. But there are a lot of games that I like, and it's just the truth. The homie Gil just recently beat Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village on stream, right?
Yep, I beat Resident Evil Village on stream today.
So if
It
you,
was twitch.tv/thehomieGil. No spaces, no caps. Been playing it for the past 2 weeks, week and a half, and 4 hour stream. It took today to beat it, but we did it. But we're gonna save that topic for a separate time.
yeah, the reason I even wanted to mention is we put a lot of hours in generally playing games. We try to. We want to talk about what our favorite games are. What games we grew up with. Is there a game that we're playing right now that we just really want to talk about? If we want to talk about a huge thing that happened in the industry, and right now there's something really big happening in the industry. And after next week, actually, really it starts tomorrow. You have Summer Games Fest or Summer Game Fest and E3 happening basically this week, next week, and the week after. And then honestly, you could keep going throughout the entire summer with a bunch of events that are happening. And I was just sitting there thinking through how there's so many events happening, and I was like, dude, I got to talk about this. I want to talk about it. And if you guys know me, Changir, if you follow me on Changir Gaming, either on Twitch or on YouTube, or even Changir Game on Twitter, you know that I love talking about games. I used to have my own podcast called Gearcast. Love it. Wish I could still do it, but I just really don't have the time. But as Gil and I are trying to grow the Ghost and Guardians brand, I was like, hey, why don't we sit down and talk about this ourselves? So I'm really excited about it. I hope you guys are as well. I am actually a co-streamer of I was last year, and I believe I still am a co-streamer of Summer Games Fest. So, or the Game Awards, which is part of Summer Games Fest. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to co-stream the majority of Summer Games Fest. And actually, because I work for a gaming company, I am part of the industry when it comes to E3. So I don't have to pay for a pass or anything like that. I'm technically industry, and so I should hopefully have a little bit more information than some other people. I don't know how much of it I can share and things like that, but it's cool. I have a different lens into the gaming industry than some do. And I wanted to sit back and talk about all of the things that are going to happen in the next couple of weeks, of course, with the homie Gil, but I wanted to talk about it with you guys as well. So After Dark is always going to be about things that aren't about Destiny. We're never going to talk about Destiny on here. Maybe we'll talk about something that we just did that day or something, but outside of that, no. This is about other things. I guess I want to start off by saying, Gil, how big of a E3 person or even just video game conference person are you? Are you oh my god, E3's coming, or oh, Nintendo, Direct is coming? Do you get really excited and hyped about it, or are you kind of oh yeah, that thing happened?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I usually just kind of watch trailers after the events happen.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But last year I watched a good chunk of it. I watched the Game Awards with you.
Hey.
I'm a big Game Awards guy. I usually watch those every time. But E3, I've never been a huge guy on it. I just kind of watch the trailers when they come out. But especially this year, doesn't seem well, we know certain games that are going to be coming, but the one that I was waiting for is getting delayed, so that's great. But I'm assuming there'd be some kind of trailer for it. Maybe not, since Sony isn't in it. But
so Sony's not at E3, but I was
Yeah.
I was just wondering generally. I know Summer Game Fest is a little bit different.
Yeah.
New Reaction said, "Where is E3? LA? E3 is held 100% digitally this year, virtually. So it's not held anywhere. You're not going anywhere this year. I'm assuming next year we'll be going places. That is, if we don't have a resurgence of some issue or some other issue coming up. But E3 is usually it's not it's some yeah LA, Anaheim, that usually that area. I think usually it's in LA. I think last time I went it was in LA. And the Game Awards is usually like in Anaheim, things like that. So California, usually Southern Central California, not where I live, unfortunately, in Northern California. But yeah. So I have my history with E3. Again, if people know me, I love a good hype train.
Yeah.
From when I first understood that E3 was a thing, probably back when I watched it on G4, which when G4 was around, you were probably 10. But you're like, yeah, maybe. Do you know
I
what
don't
G4
know.
is, Gil?
No.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! G4 TV. Oh no, that hurts. That hurts. Wait. So oh, okay, well now they're going to talk about all the new G4 stuff. Hold on. Have you never seen this logo before?
No.
Oh, that is wild. Yeah. Okay. So for those that don't know, sorry. I mean, this is after dark, right? We're just gonna kind of talk about things. We're just kind of flowing, cutting each other off, saying what we got to say. It's not really, we're just gonna kind of do what we do. But G4 is an old television channel that was all about gaming. So it was 100% gaming, an entire channel that was just dedicated to gaming, which was wild because obviously, that's it. There's no TV channel right now that you can turn on and like gaming. It's just on the internet, right? It's just on YouTube, or what streaming or Twitch or whatever. But yeah, New Reaction says I'm young, but I remember G4. Yeah, I mean some people grew up with it and were ready for it, but I mean I think if you're 18 or younger, 19 or younger, maybe 21 or younger, then you might not know about G4, which is anyway. These were like the streamers before they were streamers, the YouTubers before they were YouTubers. YouTube and streaming didn't exist, literally, and G4 did. So a lot of famous people came from here. The biggest one being Olivia Munn, Adam Sessler. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. And so I watched E3, way back in the day, and remember game trailers coming out and being excited for, of course, the most exciting things, which is, the press conferences, right? Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, all back to back to back, and you're like, oh my god, like who's gonna have the best press conference? Who won E3 every single year? And it was just a really exciting time. New Reaction says you really just unlocked a crazy lot of memories. Yeah, man. I mean, if you really can think back. I mean, again, I'm older. I'm 27 years old. And I've been into gaming since I was a kid. And when the internet became a thing for people to be able to watch gaming stuff on, I remember it because I was, a teenager when that happened. Whereas, if you're 21 to 18 or something like that, or younger, you grew up with the internet in your hand, right? So it's just a little bit different. But for me, I remember when this stuff became a big deal. And G4 was like the only place for you to watch it. So I'm a big E3 fan. I'm a big conference fan generally. I like it when PlayStation has to get on stage and explain why PlayStation is the right place to play, buy, invest, develop for. I like all of that, so it's pretty cool. And then if you don't know, Summer Games Fest is this whole other thing, and Summer Games Fest is like something that Jeff Keighley made. And if you don't know Jeff Keighley, I'm not surprised either because Jeff Keighley is like a relic of like the G4 days. And so he basically was like, hey, I grew up on this type of stuff, and I think there's still an interest in it. And so he created the Game Awards. Well, basically, he's like, well, the Game Awards are, one time of the year. What else can we do to help with the gaming industry, and basically he came up with Summer Game Fest, which really came out of also E3 getting canceled. So anyway, there's a bunch of different events happening. With all that being said, I took it upon myself to literally catalog every single, at least as far as I'm aware, every single event that is happening during the next couple of weeks, starting tomorrow, June 5th on Saturday. Ignore the fact that some of these are capitalized and some of them aren't. Look, this all kind of came out of nowhere, all right? But basically what we're going to do is go over this stuff, talk over it a little bit, some of them a little by little. Some of them we're going to really dive into and just kind of talk through what you guys are interested in. So obviously, if you're here live in the chat, let us know new reactions. Or if you're here later on watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comment section. What are you excited for when it comes to E3, Summer Game Fest, or just over the summer overall? Are there games that you're excited to come out for? Is there hype that you want to lean into as we go into 2022 or 2023? So that's what this is all about. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. A lot of this is going to be a little educational, but we're going to talk about our opinions and things like that. So first things first, let's start off with literally tomorrow, which is the Guerrilla Collective. Now, a lot of people don't know what Guerrilla Collective is, but it is an event where a bunch of indie developers get together and showcase their games. So day one is June 5th. And it'll start at 8 a.m. Pacific, so in the morning, which is, it's early. I'll be up. I'll be ready for it. But for people on the East Coast, it shouldn't be too bad. We're not going to go over every single game or anything in here. I mean, it's a lot. I might be able to zoom out a little bit so we can see it a little bit easier. But you can see some of these games you might have heard of. You might have heard of Chernobyl Light. That's been talked about a lot in the industry recently. There's another one in here. Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. This is a popular one that's been talked about a lot as well. Anno, or Anno. This one has been talked about because PlayStation has like a publishing partnership with this developer. But anyway, as you guys can see, if you're interested in indie games, if you're interested in small developers, probably 20 or less, some of them are probably like one person, definitely check out Guerrilla Collective. I'll be watching tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be streaming it. It's going to be really early. Part of me thinks that maybe we will be streaming it because it's going to be that early. I think we're just going to stream it on my channel personally, Chain Your Gaming. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and check that out. This is more, we do more reactionary stuff, not necessarily like coverage. But you guys can see some of the sponsors that are here as well that might be interested in you as well. Humble Games. If you guys don't know Humble Games, it's Humble Bundle. So the people that do Humble Bundle, they have a publishing arm now, and they've had some incredible games. Some of them you might not have heard of, but some of them I can almost guarantee you have. I think their most popular one. I love Aegis Defenders.
Hat in Time.
Yep, A Hat in Time and Slay the Spire. Wizard of Legend is pretty popular too, but these two are very, very popular. Wonder Song, it has been out there. Temtem, which I actually play pretty often. It's a monster tamer game, so obviously imagine Pokemon. Yeah. Void Bastards. These are some really, really. Oh, I did not know they did One Step From Eden. Anyway, really awesome games. If you're ever looking to just learn more about indie games, definitely tune in tomorrow. I'm very, very excited. Again, you can see some of the other groups here as well. Astro is sponsoring. PlayStation is sponsoring. If you don't think there is a tactical reason that PlayStation is sponsoring this, you're wrong. I promise you, you will see PlayStation games. Again, a good example is Anno. This is, I believe, a PlayStation exclusive. So if you guys want to see games that are going to come out on just PlayStation, maybe Xbox, maybe PC or Switch, this is going to be the place to tune in. Just covering that alone, Gil, do you have any interest in this at all? Indie games, taking a look. I don't know, it's probably like an hour or two of just straight up indie showcase.
I'm not a big indie guy, personally. I know some of the most creative games in the world are indie games.
Technically Destiny's an indie game.
Technically.
I mean,
That's
it
a
is
mainstream game.
I mean, but indie doesn't mean I'm playing devil's advocate here for no good reason.
Yeah.
But indie does mean independent. It doesn't mean small. Now, Guerrilla Collective obviously does this because they're like, hey, these are groups of 3 to 5
Yeah.
people, one person, sometimes even. But just to be clear, I mean, some of the one of the biggest games in the world is completely indie, which again is Destiny. But I mean, they're becoming a publisher anyway in their own. But anyway, sorry. Please continue. Continue.
I mean, yeah, a good example would also be Among Us.
Yep, Among Us. Yep.
You didn't see Valkyrie actually uploaded her last Among Us video.
Oh wow! I actually
Yeah.
really like Valkyrie. I'm a big Valkyrie fan. She's a streamer if you guys don't know. But that's awesome. I didn't know that. That really helped her skyrocket.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, I mean, I'm not a big indie game player.
Sure.
I've definitely played some fantastic indie games in my day, though, like Journey.
Yeah, I mean that is
The game's great.
a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
I think it's technically a second party game. But that is a good example. The line between indie and like AAA, not AAA, but between indie and like just having a publisher has gotten really skewed recently, right?
Yeah.
A good example is Unravel. Have you heard of Unravel?
Yes.
You probably have because they had a bunch of
Yes.
So Unravel, this game is like this game is straight up an indie game, but it's published by EA,
Right.
which is confusing, right? You're like, well, hold on, it can't be both, but it can. I mean, the developer is like, I think it's like a very small team, and EA came in and said, hey, we'll publish you. So the line between indie and a published game, a non-self-published game, has really changed recently.
Right.
But anyway, I don't want to dwell too long on the Guerrilla Collective. If you guys are interested in indie, then I highly recommend you guys take a look at this. New Reaction says, I am a Nintendo guy, so I just want some Zelda, or I can pray for Pikmin 4, but probably not. Is Hades an indie game? Yes, Hades is an indie game. That's a great example. Like, Hades is...
Game of the Year nomination.
yeah, Hades is by one of my favorite indie devs, which is Supergiant Games. There we go, Supergiant Games.
Celeste.
Yeah, Celeste is a great example. I mean, fantastic game. A lot of 10 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. That's indie. Supergiant, they made Hades. They made two of my favorite games, Transistor and Bastion. These are the types of games where I keep playing them and I never beat them because I don't want to finish them. I'm like, yeah, I'll finish it one day. And then I always go back and play the intro again and maybe get halfway through and then I'm like, I'll beat it one day. Same with Transistor. These games are phenomenal. I never got to play Pyre, bought it, but I never played it. And then Hades, yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got that on my Switch, literally right there. Excited to start playing. I haven't played it yet. But yeah, this is an indie game. And you gotta support the indies, man. You gotta support the indies. But yeah, so that's Guerrilla Collective.
I have one little tidbit.
Sure.
Have you ever played What Remains of Edith Finch?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know who developed that, but I believe that's What Remains of Edith Finch. I think is Some People Can Fly, right? What Remains of Edith Finch?
Annapurna Interactive.
Annapurna, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Giant Sparrow. Giant Sparrow is the developer, and that's another great example. Annapurna, I thought they got bought. Maybe not. I thought they got bought by Take-Two for some reason. This is a great example. They're a publisher, but like, dude, these games are indie games. Like Florence, Donut Country. Like Florence is a phenomenal game. Flower, oh my god, I actually love Flower. Gone Home, these are all these games are not AAA. Can you really call them indie? Technically not. They are not indie games. They are published. They have money. They have budgets behind them. But for all intents and purposes, they kind of belong in the indie category. It's honestly at this point it's become more of a genre than it is an actual like identifier. Even though one of my favorite games, the game that I kind of grew up on the internet with in terms of like YouTube and stuff, Blacklight Retribution, completely indie, 100% indie. But anyway, I can't wait for Neon White. I've actually never heard of that. Let me see. Neon White. Oh, I have heard of this. That's that Switch game. Yep. That's that like first person Switch game. Yeah, this is going to be interesting for sure, for sure. Well, we'll talk more about Nintendo for certain. But for now, let's get to the next group, or the next event, which is Black Voices in Gaming. Now, this is probably one of the more important things to me personally. Black Voices in Gaming. I've actually seen a couple of tweets where people don't really understand what that means. It literally just means black people in gaming having a voice during this day. Now, Black Voices in Gaming is actually a streaming series, if I understand correctly. But the Guerrilla Collective highlights them during their own kind of time as well. So what's cool is they're going to have their own separate thing. Basically, if you're a black video game creator, your games are going to be highlighted during Black Voices in Gaming. So you'll see the actual creators. They'll talk about the games that they've made. They'll go ahead and showcase the game, and it's pretty cool. Personally, I'm a big fan of black people having their own time to be able to showcase the things that they've done. And I think the reason just being is because it's hard out there, but it's cool. So if you have, again, an interest in black creators specifically, then this is a really good time to take a look. Maybe you're not interested in indie games overall, but maybe you're like, hey, I want to see what a different type of person is doing. This is a good time to do it. So I'm excited for this. Again, I do think we'll be streaming most of this, co-streaming most of this, the Guerrilla Collective plus Black Voices in Gaming, which again are together. So if you guys are interested in either of those things, definitely check in tomorrow. And if you don't see me streaming it, then go ahead and just check them out generally. Also, this document will be available. It's available already on the Discord. So if you're in our Discord, you can actually use this document and click on these different links to learn more yourself. So feel free to do that. All right, let's move on to the next week, Monday. It's the beginning of Netflix Geeked Week. If you haven't heard of Netflix Geeked Week, have you heard of this before, Gil? All right. So Netflix Geeked Week is all about basically Netflix's own geeky, nerdy content, and you get to watch a bunch of things about it. So, for example, they'll talk about things like the new Cuphead show. They'll talk about Lucifer, Castlevania, which I just finished, and I absolutely love. If you don't know about the Castlevania show, I highly recommend it. Other shows as well, like Cowboy Bebop, the new Godzilla show that's been out for a while, Vikings, but there's a bunch of different shows. Of course, The Witcher. I know a lot of people love The Witcher or The Umbrella Academy. So if you're interested in geeky, nerdy stuff that has to do with Netflix or some of their properties, definitely take a look at it. Now, in this little like trailer that they have, they actually talk a little bit more about not just games that are not just shows, but they also talk a little bit about movies, animation, sci-fi, fantasy, which of course are genres. But they also talk about games and merchandise and things like that. So this is something I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on. I'm working that day, so I'm sure a lot of people are. But this could be something to keep your eyes on if you're the type of person that likes to watch things, again on Netflix. Gil, do you watch like any like geeky, nerdy stuff? I don't know, anime or whatever it might be on Netflix?
I've watched The Witcher. For sure.
Excited for the second season?
Yes.
Me too. Have you played The Witcher?
No.
Yeah, and I don't think you do. But I think it's good.
Watched a little bit of The Umbrella Academy.
I love that show.
I haven't watched Castlevania yet, but
fire.
I plan on it. It's on my list. So.
All right. Well, it's all there. So if you guys are fans, I probably wouldn't. I know for me, I probably won't watch. I know one of the things I'm excited for, and you might be excited for, is the new Resident Evil show.
Yes.
I think it stars Leon, right? I think.
I haven't seen much about it, but
I think it literally
I
stars
think
like Leon Kennedy and maybe Claire or something like that. But exciting nonetheless.
as long as it's not like the movies.
No, it's animated. It's an animated show that like follows the
Oh,
games.
okay.
So yeah,
I'm down.
yeah, exciting. So this might be one of those things where you look out for some trailers or something like that afterwards. But I don't think we'll be like I'm not going to be co-streaming this or anything like that. But we might do maybe some reactions or something like that to particular trailers we're excited for or something. But that is Netflix Geek Week. That's when it starts, and then the thing I'm most excited for at this point in time, as we've gone down this list, Battlefield 2021 reveal. I am very excited for this. Very excited. Battlefield, June 9th, 7 a.m. Pacific. If you don't think I'm not watching this at 7 in the morning, you're wrong. I will wake up for this 7 o'clock in the morning. I will stream it. We will talk about it. I've been a fan of Battlefield for a while, but after I think it was 4 or 3, it just kind of went downhill, and I just really did not enjoy them afterwards. And apparently, this is supposed to be kind of a return to form. So at this point, I'm just really excited to hope this game is really good. Me and Gil, as well as Darth Dominic, Mexican Synth, a couple other people, have played or have been playing Warzone recently. And the only reason that I really enjoy Warzone is because it gives me that Battlefield vibe. Big map, driving around, but then you die and then it's over, and that always kind of made me a little upset. I was always like, I don't really know if I want to spend a lot of time playing this game. But Battlefield coming back, I'm just really excited. I'm really excited, and I really hope we're going to get something cool. Gil, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I played Battlefield 1,
Oh, I'm sorry.
which is good. That game is good.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not. But it's not.
It's not like
It's
4
not
or, like,
Battlefield,
3. It's not like Bad Company. But yeah, I get you on that. And Battlefield 5 is just like
It's not it.
no. But I'm excited for this. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big Battlefield guy. I've always been more of a COD guy myself.
You
but
will be.
I've always wanted to be enjoy a different game besides Call of Duty, and I've found that in Destiny. But it would be nice to have a different game to fall back on if I'm not having a great time in Destiny. So
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Battlefield, right, is that it's so crazy. I mean, I think that doesn't really exist in Destiny. If you want to relax, you do some strikes, you grind something out that is easy, right? Where you're like, oh, I'll just roll with whatever I want, kill a bunch of things, and get some rolls. In Battlefield, you just play the game, you just don't take it as seriously. You jump in a car and you try and do some, put some C4 on it. The classic, get in a car, get in a C4, drive it off a building, blow it up when it gets into another building. Classic Battlefield shenanigans. Everybody gets in the car. We all drive halfway across the map through some back alleys to get to like a point where you really shouldn't be, and we try and take it all by ourselves because why not? It's just gonna. I just love Battlefield. New Reaction says this is 100%. This is 100% Bad Company 3. If not, I will cry. This is not Bad Company 3, man. I literally think that this is just. I think this is Battlefield 6 or whatever. I don't know what they're called. I don't know if this is just going to be Battlefield and it's just a second coming of what
like
the original.
like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think Battlefield has its roots. I think I think it's explored those roots well with old war stuff. But I think Battlefield really could cement itself as the modern day shooter now because no other game right now is out there with modern shooter mechanics and all that stuff. So I'm excited for it. Boots on the ground, planes in the air, boats in the water. I'm going to be excited for this. So definitely make sure you guys follow along. We will be covering this 7 a.m., but I'm going to be up for it. I'm gonna be up for it.
I'll be up 2 hours ahead of you, my time, so I'll be up for it as well. If I'll join. So
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it for sure. All right, and then finally it's Thursday, and this is really when things. This is if you didn't care about anything, this is what you want to know. This is what you want to know. Thursday.
Before we start,
Yeah.
talking about Summer Games Fest.
Yeah.
You know what comes out Thursday, June 10th?
I don't.
Intergrade.
Oh, okay. Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I have that on my I have that on my calendar. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that. You know what? We're gonna add that on here. Final Fantasy. Oh, update. Yeah. This is huge. This is a big one. This is honestly, I will probably try and beat Final Fantasy VII that week.
Yeah.
I'm actually off all of next week because I'm done working. I officially stopped working at Facebook that week, and I will probably play Final Fantasy every single day. I'll play Destiny every single day too, but I'll probably play Final Fantasy every single day and just try and beat it because obviously the new content's out, and I'm really excited for that. I'll probably watch somebody play through all of where I got to so I can remember because I don't remember any of it. But man, am I excited for that. Thank you for bringing that up. And you know, before we get to Summer Games Fest, there's another RPG that is actually having a reveal. And you probably don't know about this, Gil, but I think you're going to be excited. So there is an RPG that was announced. And, you know what? We can translate this into English. Well, let's just look at it in Japanese first. It's called Monarch. It's called Monarch with a K. And we don't really know much about it. But it's called Monarch. But what we do know is that the names below here, which the letters keep changing, but from what we understand is this is a brand new RPG from the staff that originally created Shin Megami Tensei. And if you know Shin Megami Tensei, that's what created Persona. So a lot of people are excited because this is brand new. This is there's no, it's not Shin Megami Tensei, 7 or some weird spin-off or Persona, of course. Which I mean, hey, look, Persona is beautiful, but something brand new is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So you can
original guys,
right? So you can see there is the countdown here. And that this countdown will lead us to June 10th. I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. I don't know exactly how this is going to be announced. I don't know if this page will be complete and maybe a trailer will drop. But if you're an RPG fan and you like Persona or the Shin Megami Tensei games, of old, this is you're going to want to keep your eyes on this. I think one of the best ways to keep your eyes on it is probably just follow their Twitter. So as you can see here, I won't follow it with ours, but as you can see, they have a Twitter. It doesn't really have much on it. It literally just has this and a date. It's in Japanese. But if you want to see if there's going to be a trailer, maybe follow it and make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you get notified the second a trailer comes out or something like that. Obviously, we might cover it or something like that later on, but we're not gonna. We don't know what's happening. So we're not gonna do like a, oh my god, like hype thing or anything like that. So, but it looks interesting. It looks, like
Persona 6.
Right. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I don't know anything. Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, no.
Like, it doesn't even say like who it's like if there's a publisher or anything. So, exciting. But we'll have to see what happens.
Could you imagine if they announced that this year?
What, Persona 6? No.
I mean, it's not going to happen because those games take a long time to make.
And they need they need to keep selling this game. I mean, this game is I think
these aren't the guys who would make it, obviously.
Right. Yeah. That would be wild. That would be wild. I think it's too. Yeah, I could imagine.
Because when did Persona 4 come out?
Oh, long time ago, right? I mean, that was on what? Persona 4 was on PS2, right?
When did P4 come out?
Release date.
2008.
Yeah, 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 a long time ago. So
And Golden came out in 2012.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, pain.
To be fair,
Yeah,
Persona 3 came out 2 years before Persona 4.
yeah,
I think sometimes you can't necessarily say, oh, it's just the time. I think sometimes you just
yeah.
have to look at it and say, well, it might actually just be because of like the success, right? So Persona 3
Right.
happens, Persona 4 happens, and at that point, RPGs are popular, but only to a niche crowd, right? And
Yeah.
then they release Persona 4 Golden, and it blows up.
It's
And
huge.
people are like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we're making another one. Takes them 4 years to make an actual successor, right?
Yeah.
If it took them 4 years, it might have been in the works.
Yeah.
But
Persona 5 came out in 2016,
right,
and then Royal came out in Japan. Royal came out in 2019, but in the US it came out in 2020. So
yeah, cash grab.
yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway, so get excited for that if you're excited for that. New Reaction says, I will still stand by Final Fantasy 13 till the day I die. You know what, bud? You do that. I have no comments. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at
You
all.
want to know something?
Yeah, go for it.
I've never played a single Final Fantasy game in my life.
Except 7.
No.
Oh, you're going to play 7.
Yeah, remake. I haven't played it yet.
That's what I mean. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's okay. I think some people are like, Final Fantasy is a staple, but they're all over the place. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all classic ATB gauge, meaning basically turn based, right? You have your
Yeah.
party of 4, and they fight whatever comes in, Pokemon style, classic. The difference between that and Pokemon is that Pokemon is a catch 'em game, right? You catch them all and collect, all these Monster Tamer.
Yeah.
Before that, it was just Final Fantasy with them just being like, you have 3 characters and it's just an RPG. Honestly, those games are phenomenal. I played them all on the Game Boy Advance when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy 5, 6, 7 are a little bit different, but still really good. But they were really good for their time,
Yeah. Are these games connected
No, none of them.
at all?
None of them.
Okay.
No. The only ones that are connected is if they say they're connected. For example, Final Fantasy, what is it? 10, 1, 2, and 3. It's literally like Final Fantasy 10, 1, 2, 3. Please don't kill me if I got the number wrong. I don't remember. Final Fantasy fans, don't yell at me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a bunch of them.
So they're all like unique stories.
Yep, every single one of them. The issue I think that Final Fantasy has had is that they could never really grow. 13 is a great example actually because 13 has 3 games. 13 thanks reaction. 13 has 13 what is it? 13 1, 13 2, and then 13 Lightning Returns. And that's when they started to serialize their or make like multiple games. I mean, there was one before that, but anyway, yeah. So there are a couple of them where they'll continue it, but
That's weird.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
weird how they name all their games like numbers in the series, but they're all completely standalone games.
yeah, I think that's just how they did it back then. They were like, oh, like
Yeah.
this is a. I think it comes with the name too of Final Fantasy. Like this fantasy has a finale. It'll happen. You play it. That is the end for this game, for this world. Now let's have another one. Now let's have another one. Now let's have another one, but it's long, so we're gonna make it 3 games. But I think the reason that you see what happens is with Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15 is a great example because Final Fantasy 15, which let me bring up really quickly. Final Fantasy 15, for me at least, was a really frustrating game because the game didn't catch up with how RPGs were running at the time, which was action-based RPGs. This was a half-baked action-based RPG where it's not action-based. It actually feels like you're playing an MMO, which some people are okay with. In terms of basically you're broadcasting your attacks. Even though you're swinging a sword, when you press the button to swing your sword, there's a long animation that looks gorgeous, but doesn't really feel like you're playing the game. Final Fantasy VII is an action game. It's an action RPG, and it is phenomenal. And to me, it's like either go the Persona 4 or Persona 5 route, which is this is a RPG that is turn-based, and it is wonderful. There's there's nothing wrong with a turn-based RPG. But Final Fantasy 15, they went a different route, and they said, well, we're gonna kind of make the game action-based, but not really. So now we're seeing Final Fantasy 7 sell like crazy, and now you have Final Fantasy 16, which, boy, if you don't think I'm excited for it, because 16 is an action based, and it's completely standalone, and it goes back to the olden times of Final Fantasy, where so the universes, by the way, the universes are not connected, but they follow the same rules. So think about Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy, they're not technically in the same universe, but they follow the same rules. So there's a rule set that is Final Fantasy. All of the gods are the same. All of the summons are the same. All of the magic is the same. But it's just a completely different story. And maybe the way they utilize those things are different. New Reaction says the story behind this game's development is kind of crazy. That's true. I'll give you that reactions. There was some this game went through development hell. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Final Fantasy, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Final Fantasy VII, the remake, the update is coming out. Monarch is going to be revealed. And then what we really wanted to talk about, finally, is Summer Games Fest. So Summer Games Fest, I'm very excited about it. Last year it was weird. Basically, Jeff Keighley would do some random things and talk about some stuff, and people would announce things, but it wasn't really unified. Well, this year he's doing a kickoff, and the kickoff I think is going to help a lot. The kickoff is going to happen on June 10th. So if you're interested in really seeing kind of like a classic keynote where you see presentations and stuff, or kind of the classic Game Awards without the awards and just the announcements, that's what Summer Game Fest is. Plus, it's literally just going to be announcements and things like that. If you're wondering what you might see at Summer Game Fest, you can see down here, these are all the things that are part of Summer Game Fest. And we're going to talk about all these, but this is what's officially part of Summer Game Fest. Obviously, there's the kickoff, and I don't think I can click into these, but there's the kickoff. Then there is Geek Week, which is actually part of Summer Games Fest. But as you can see here, on the 11th, Geek Week is like it looks like maybe something special is going to happen on the 11th, because it starts on the 7th, but it seems like something special will happen on the 11th. We'll get to that. I believe this is Coke. Some people say Coke, some people say Koch, but Coke or Koch Primetime. We'll get to this. This is a bigger deal than you think it is. I promise you probably never heard of this company. It's a bigger deal than you think it is. Ubisoft Forward, everybody's excited about this. If you're a Ubisoft fan, or even if you're just a fan of the industry, this is probably the first big thing that's happening via particular publisher that people know of. This is important as well, but trust me, this is the one that everyone's going to be excited about. Devolver Digital, a classic. Usually they do an E3 showcase. This time they're skipping E3, and instead they're going to be at Summer Games Fest. I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing joke. If you haven't seen a Devolver Digital press conference, they're hysterical. Also a little ridiculous, but hysterical. Then June 13th, we're looking at the Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. Now, this is technically part of E3, I believe. But maybe they're also partnering with Summer Game Fest. I'm actually not sure. Square Enix Presents. This is a big one. Back for Blood Showcase. Steam Next Fest. This is exciting. And then they always do something with music. The Sonic Symphony Orchestra. If you guys didn't know, it's Sonic's 30-year anniversary. So if you grew up on Sonic, this could be exciting for you. But the Symphony Orchestra is going to be playing. That's kind of exciting if you like Sonic music. And then EA Play Live happens July. So there's a big gap between June, July, and it doesn't seem like we have anything for August. But if you were wondering what we might see for the kickoff, don't look any further than the Summer Games Fest or Summer Game Fest partners. 2K, Activision, Amazon Games, Annapurna, Blizzard, Capcom, Devolver, and you can keep looking down this list. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, PlayStation's not at E3. It's not at E3," but PlayStation is here. PlayStation is part of Summer Games. or summer game, and PlayStation is also part of the Gorilla Collective. So if you do want to see PlayStation, this is where you're going to want to keep your eyes on. We will definitely 100% be covering Summer Game Fest. There's no question about it. You can even see in their little hype trailer here, there are PlayStation games. Like, for example, literally Ratchet and Clank popped right up. So there are going to be PlayStation games talked about here. But I'm excited about this. I hope you guys are as well. Gil, what are your thoughts on this? And let me go back down here just in case you wanted to see the partners. But Summer Game Fest, the kickoff, June 10th. You excited?
Yes. I mean, I think we all know what we want a trailer for from PlayStation.
Go ahead, tell us.
God of War.
Let's go.
We know it's getting delayed to 2022. Did they say like early or like just 2022?
2022. It was in like a weird Q&A interview thing. It wasn't even like a video. It was classic PlayStation blog, and it was like kind of like, oh yeah, like this is like, you know, it's probably not going to be in 2021. And it's like, okay. So yeah, 2022.
I need a trailer for that like ASAP.
I need my hype to be sustained.
I need it.
That's fair.
I need to see the boy. I'd like to see what Capcom's up to after RE8.
Can we pause on that for a second?
Yeah.
Capcom. I'm glad you mentioned that. Capcom. Let's talk about Capcom for just a second. So I'm not a big Capcom fan, but I like Capcom. And we've seen one thing do extraordinarily well. And I'm not using the word extraordinary lightly here. I know I say that word a lot, but here I'm not using it lightly. Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil remakes have been doing very well, like absurdly well.
Yeah.
I've been wondering what we're going to get from Capcom. What's next? Are you just going to keep shelling out tons and tons of Resident Evils, or what else are we going to see? Is there anything in particular? Oh, and of course, Monster Hunter also did ridiculously well, right? Is there anything you're excited for that's coming from Capcom outside of these two franchises? New reaction says, "Don't get me started on Capcom." No, let's get started. Go ahead. Tell us what you think. New reactions. I need a new Lost Planet game.
I don't think we're going to see anything from Devil May Cry for a little bit. Capcom Arcade Stadium is actually really cool.
Yeah, I just saw that pop up.
Street Fighter. I haven't gotten a new Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's true. Time. Yeah, there could be a Street Fighter 6 on the horizon.
Yeah. And like I said in our podcast yesterday, just before we started talking about Destiny, how I said that Resident Evil Village is very similar to RE4. I think there's going to be an RE4 remake in our future. Probably not like for like a couple of years, honestly. But
I have heard a lot of people saying that it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's been like a yearly thing for them recently. Like it was RE7, and then RE2 remake came out, and then RE3 remake came out, and then RE8 just came out. So I was like, like RE3 remake came out last year, and it seems like it's been longer. It's only been like a year.
And they have worked on Resident Evil 4 multiple times, right? There's Resident Evil 4. There's a remake, and then I want to say there was another one or something like that. Like not remake, not Resident Evil, not like Resident Evil 2 and 3. But I know they re-brought it up, I think on like the Wii, and then like on PlayStation 3, I think they brought it back or something. I could see, it's the next one, right? What they either do, I don't know.
Either make 9 or they do Resident Evil 4 remake. Yeah,
9's too early, right? Way too early for 9. So, I agree with you. Well, let me tell you what I'm excited for, Gil. And if I don't get it, I won't cry, but
sad.
Dragon's Dogma.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever played Dragon's Dogma?
No, I've heard of it though.
Let's just make up a date here. I hate it when they ask me for this. Dragon's friggin' Dogma. I love this game. So Dragon's Dogma is like it's a single player classic RPG. You play as it's an action RPG. It is really really good, but it had the classic. It's the first game. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's the first game. You know, the second one will be better. This is great. Love this game. There's a lot of really great stuff here. But the second one, oh my god, it's gonna be great. You know, Borderlands 1 to Borderlands 2. Darksiders 1 to Darksiders 2. You know, like, I was excited for it. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but even I would say Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. I mean, sure, there was some issues there in the middle. You know, double primary. I don't know what all that was about. But yeah, man. But this game was really good. And they never made a second one. And then they made a weird online MMO for China only.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, what's going on here? I would love to see the developers, obviously, Capcom being a publisher, I would love to see the developers get a second chance at this and make Dragon's Dogma 2 be one of the best action RPGs, frankly, of all time. Like, there is room for it. They had a day-night cycle. There wasn't, like, survival stuff. There wasn't exactly survival stuff, but there was, like, I mean, it was just the class system itself and the way that you would play it. You basically, if you picked a different class, it would completely change the way that you would play the game. They had a combination classes. I mean, it was just so cool. It was the classic thing that you liked about, you know, a Final Fantasy game that was turn-based, but then turned into an action RPG. So I'd love to see Dragon's Dogma. That would be my number one for Capcom. So for you, Resident Evil. For me, Dragon's Dogma.
Yep.
Cool.
I highly doubt we're going to see anything about Resident Evil, being that Resident Evil 8 just came out.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. That's fair. And there are a bunch more. I know new reactions. You talked about it. You already mentioned a couple. I'm with you on that one. They have a deep catalog where they could bring back quite a lot of games. But you never know. Also, sorry, I just saw this Hi-Rez Studios. So this probably means we're gonna see something for Rogue Company. If you didn't know, I used to have a Rogue Company podcast. So Rogue Company, maybe Smite. I don't think we're going to see a brand new game from Hi-Rez. I think they need to focus on the games that they have. But I'm excited to see what they have there because Hi-Rez definitely needs all the help they can get. All the help they can get. All right, well, we're going to talk more about Summer Game Fest, but definitely stay tuned for Summer Game Fest. We will be streaming it, so get excited for that. Next is June 11th, and it starts with Koch Gaming Prime Time. And by the way, their slogan for the prime time is, "We know something you don't know." Let me show you guys this, because again, you probably have never heard of this, but you will when I show you. I want to show you this first. When you actually look this up, the prime time, it brings you to this very bizarre Twitch stream, which is literally www.twitch.tv/we know something you don't know. That's like what this is. So apparently this is going to be something, but if you're like, who are these people? It's you'll know some of the brands that they publish or develop. So I'm just going to scroll down here, and you already see some of the things that you might recognize: Dead Island, Metro, Saints Row. You'll see some things that aren't that great: Agents of Mayhem, which is part of the Saints Row universe; Homefront, which didn't do very well; or Risen, which is an RPG that you probably haven't heard of either. But you might have heard of Deep Silver. That's one of their personal brands. So let's actually go into games real quick and take a look at self-publishing. when you take a look at self-publishing, you see that they own Deep Silver. And if you don't know Deep Silver, well, you probably do. Deep Silver makes games that, again, you probably haven't heard of, like Iron Harvest, but they did make a game like Metro Exodus, which I think most people have heard of. They made Chivalry 2, which has recently gotten really popular for some reason. The Chivalry games generally. They made Saints Row. They made Maneater, which we literally just talked about the other day. I really like Maneater. But they've made a lot of other games that, again, maybe you haven't heard of. Kingdom Come Deliverance. This was a game that was received very differently depending on who you asked. But lots of games here. Valkyria, unfortunately. Not Valkyria. Valkyria. This was not a good game. I'm going to ignore that before I get upset. Yakuza Kiwami. So, again, games that you guys have heard of. Dead Island. These are some really, really big games. Deep Silver.
You skipped over Persona 5.
I didn't even see that. Where? Oh, Persona 5. I didn't know that they developed Persona 5. Wait, for real? Dude, I had no idea. Did you know that?
I think they were like a side developer next to Atlas, but yeah.
Dude, that is crazy. I did not know that. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously Atlas. But by the way, my birthday is not any of the dates that I put in here. I'm just trying to go through this quickly. Yeah, interesting. They don't put them on here, but yeah, they just say it's Atlas. But yeah, apparently Deep Silver was also part of it as well. That is super interesting. I wonder if they worked on like the PlayStation 3 version or something like that. Because that's pretty wild. New Reaction says, if it's Dead Island 2, I will bawl my eyes out. I mean, that's... So anyway, that's just part one. Raven's Court. This is another company. Now, you probably don't know as many of the games here. Dice Legacy. You've probably never heard of that. Proto Corgi. This is like a cute kind of indie game. I actually played this. It's pretty fun. Siege Survival. Not only have I not heard of this, I have definitely not played it. And then Night is Coming. Again, these are games that I've not heard of. And then if we, again, go in deeper, again, I've never heard of these songs. I mean, these songs. I just saw Let's Sing. So these games. But apparently they made 36 more. So they've made a lot of games as well. And again, you're probably like, I've never heard of this company. We're not done. Partner publishing, develop, distribution, partners. Just really quickly, we're just going to go through it. So they don't actually show who they've worked with. But if you actually go back, it says partner publishing. If we click on games, you'll see here that it says they've worked with numerous developers like Atlas, Bethesda, Capcom, Codemasters, Sega, Square Enix, Koei Tecmo. So, dude, they've worked with tons and tons of companies. And then, again, when we go back to...
been around.
Yeah, these guys have been around. Another big one, two big ones, is Flying Wild Hog, which, again, you may not have heard of, or Volition. Volition, I think, is probably the one people know more, because Volition is Saints Row. And I think, honestly, all they've made is Saints Row. Oh, no, they made Red Faction as well. I did not know that. They made the Red Faction games. So, yeah.
I think this is either going to be Saints Row. I think it has a good chance of being a new Saints Row game.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Like our boy New Reactions, maybe even a new Dead Island.
Dead Island 2 has been in development for 70 years, so it is possible. And if you, again, I just wanted to pinpoint or just show you guys really quickly, Flying Wild Hog, if you don't know them, they made Shadow Warrior 2 and 3. I'm a big Shadow Warrior fan. Love the first one. And the second one actually sold pretty well. And the third one's coming out soon. I don't think it came out yet. So people are pretty excited for that as well. But yeah, there's a lot of pedigree here. There's a lot of pedigree. So, like you said, Gil, you mentioned you think it might be a Saints Row. Maybe a Dead Island 2. Definitely keep your eyes on this, guys. Friday, June 11th. If it's June 10th and you're like, man, Summer Games Fest was great, what's next? Definitely figure out when this is going to start and keep your eyes on it, because there could be some really interesting things. And it says prime time. And I think that that's important to recognize, because it probably means that they're going to talk about multiple things. But this "we know something you don't know" thing is the fact that they're like publishing company, and it's even, I think it's higher technically than their publishing company. It's like the company that overall sees this stuff. There could be so many things in here. So,
Yeah.
like I said, get excited. A new reaction says Saints Row better than GTA 100%. I don't agree with you.
I don't agree with you at all.
At all, new reactions. I don't know if you've played GTA 5, but it's excellent. It's a masterpiece. But I did like Saints Row 1 and 2 a lot. Then it started to get really goofy, and I kind of got over it. I really didn't like how goofy Saints Row got. They had dildo bats and like stupid stuff by the end. And I know that's fun. I know it can be fun for a lot of people, but for me, Saints Row was a lot more fun when it was not fun, but it had better stories around gang life. Whereas GTA really changed and started to tell bigger stories, which GTA 5 I think does phenomenally. I have played all of each series, and I will stand by Saints Row 2. So I agree with you on that. Saints Row 2 I think is the best Saints Row game, but that says a lot about Saints Row, right? Like Saints Row really isn't that good if the second game is the best one. Whereas I think GTA 5 is a masterpiece. So, I mean, there are things I don't like about it. Like, I don't like the shooting in GTA, frankly. There are a lot of things I don't like in GTA, but I do think it's a masterpiece in storytelling, and I think the gameplay is serviceable for its storytelling. So, I do think it's a masterpiece, even if I don't love all the gameplay aspects of it. Anyway, we'll talk about Take-Two later. Next is the IGN Expo, which is part of their thing called Summer of Gaming. So IGN Expo, we've seen IGN Expo before. We saw it last year, and again, I think this was an answer to E3 not being around. And I'm actually going to read a little bit of this really quickly. IGN Expo 2021 will bring together new game reveals, never before seen gameplay, and announcements you won't hear from anyone else. We'll also be partnering with Jeff Keighley's Kickoff Live, bringing you more information about the biggest announcements from the June 10th World Premiere Showcase. So I think one of the things that we're probably going to see from this is the kickoff will happen, and then I think we'll see trailers, and then I think we'll see never before seen gameplay basically afterwards. New game reveals I think are going to be big as well. And again, if you scroll down and you look over here, you can see it says last year's Summer of Gaming brought you 5 separate IGN Expo events, debuting exclusive announcements and reveals like Yakuza Like a Dragon, Borderlands 3, Chivalry 2, and much more. So this isn't going to be small. I think this is going to be pretty big. Who knows what we're going to see, but I just wanted to go ahead and announce that. We unfortunately don't even have a peek at what the IGN Expo has. If you actually look up IGN Summer of Gaming, all you get is kind of like a little teaser thing here, and then you can kind of just like scroll down, and it just talks about Summer of Gaming, but it doesn't actually talk to us about what the expo is going to be like. Even when you go over to June 11th, which is when it happened, June 11th, it just says that there is an expo. It doesn't actually say what the expo is. So that's pretty awkward. But we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. Now, Gil's not, it looks like Gil had to run for a bit, so we'll keep moving from this point. But I do think this is another one that you're going to want to keep your eyes open for. So, take a look. I think June 11th is going to be a big day. I think June 10th is going to be a big day. I think June 11th is going to be a big day. So it's going to be a lot of streaming for me on those 2 days. And again, Netflix Geek Week is going to apparently be a big deal on the 11th as well. I don't know why. But that's the day that it's part of Summer Game Fest. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so this is all pre-E3, by the way. if you weren't following or if you didn't necessarily understand, this was all pre E3. Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So all next week. So go ahead, add this stuff into your calendars. If you need the link to this, I actually don't mind sharing it right now. Again, if you have the link to this, you can view it, but you can't edit it or anything like that. So you can view it and take a look. But before we get into the E3 predictions and hype, which is really the week of E3, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then of course there's post E3, which is technically Wednesday, Thursday, etc. Before we get into that, we're going to take a quick break. So if you guys need to get some food, go to the bathroom, whatever, please don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Thank you guys so much. All right, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties.
Nickel difficulties.
But we're back. And in perfect time, too, because now it's time to talk about the actual E3 showcase, predictions, information. Some of this is part of Summer Games Fest, but this is technically when E3 starts. Saturday, June 12th. So again, mark your calendars. Saturday, June 12th. And the first thing is, now don't actually take my word for the timing. I don't know when, time-wise, these things start. But Devolver Digital is the first one. Devolver Digital, you can see here, they're part of Summer Game Fest. And it'll be on the 12th, like we said, and it'll start at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Now, I am a big Devolver fan. Gil, how much do you know about like Devolver?
Oh, pretty fair amount.
Yeah, do you like their games?
I mean, yeah. They're, if you don't know, they're the guys behind Fall Guys.
Devolver published Fall Guys?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I did not know that.
Yeah. Loop Hero, Hotline Miami, Broforce.
Are you sure they did Fall Guys?
Yeah,
Maybe they just got rid of it because they just got bought.
probably.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway.
But yeah, I know a few of their games. Broforce was actually a favorite of mine.
Hey, I played Broforce back in the day. That's
Yeah.
a good one. I'm excited to actually play Loop Hero. Haven't bought it yet just because it's on PC. But excited to play Loop Hero. Of course, Shadow Warrior, as I was just mentioning earlier. Essays on Empathy, I've heard, is really good. Reigns. Have you ever played Reigns? So Reigns is a mobile game. Highly recommend it. I think it's pretty inexpensive, and there's a bunch of versions of it. It's just like a decision-making game, like swipe right, swipe left. It is fun. It's a good way to like pass the time if you're like in bed or just like with a friend and you guys don't really know what to do. It's a good game to just like pick up and like start playing. But Devolver is exciting. We have no idea what's going to come out of the Devolver showcase. Again, they're usually kind of ridiculous, the showcases. They usually make fun of games media generally and the hype of it all, while in turn being part of it, and they're aware of that. But it's usually very silly. But we'll have to, just wait and see what's there. I remember last time they showed Carrion, which is the ridiculous tentacle monster game. I think if I remember correctly, Serious Sam was shown at one point. Disc Room, Sludge Life. I actually saw. Oh, Exit the Gungeon. I forgot. Enter the Dungeon. Gungeon was a Devolver game. But yeah, so there's a lot of games that they've made, and I have no idea what they're going to be showing. But this is definitely one that you're going to want to keep your eyes on. I would ask you, Gil, if there's anything that you want to see, but I feel like that's a hard question when you're looking at like Devolver, because we don't know, because they do have games that are serialized and that we see normally, like Shadow Warrior is a great example, or Enter the Gungeon, or Serious Sam, but like outside of that, it's a lot of just like they're kind of like the indie developer, right, or the indie publisher, where it's like you see this game, and you're just like, oh, I don't know what that is. My Friend Pedro is a great example. It's like the developers of My Friend Pedro, they developed it. It's an indie game for the most part, but Devolver's just the one that published it. New reactions since 2019 was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. They're a little ridiculous. Sometimes too much, where I'm just like, this is stupid. Just get to the games. Yeah. But whatever. All right, well, we'll move on. This is one of those ones where, again, you're going to want to keep your eyes open for it. I definitely recommend you watch it. And just in case, again, you wanted to see it, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. So there's that. Cool. Next is the Guerrilla Collective Showcase once again, but this is day 2. So again, if you were wondering what kind of games you might see, here are some of them. Hello Neighbor 2 apparently is going to be talked about. Hello Neighbor is an indie game. It looks like, let's see if there's anything else. Death Trash, that sounds interesting. Potion Craft, that sounds like a game I might be into. Kitsune Tales, all right. little anime. Slime Heroes. So just take a look through these, and if you Ghost Runner. Oh, I heard a Ghost Runner 2 was announced. I'm pretty sure Ghost Runner 2 is around. I don't know if anybody likes Ghost Runner. I'm a big Ghost Runner fan. I played it. I was like, yo, this is nice. I never got to keep playing it, but I really did like it. Eldoran looks awesome just by the art alone. That looks sick. Sorry, I'm like just checking this out myself. Ooh, look at that. Okay. Got a little pixel art going on. You got some combat. All right. Well, anyway, guys. Again, indie games, if you're interested, definitely take a look. That will also be happening the same day. Devolver Digital, Guerrilla Collective Showcase Part 2. And then there is the Wholesome Direct. Another great indie showcase. You can probably tell that the idea behind this is that it is wholesome. So starting, it's July 12th, again, 10 a.m. Pacific time, so in the morning, exclusive footage, developer interviews, announcing 75 announcements from 75 plus indie games. That's a lot of games starting 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you want to see what it looks like, I can show you a little bit of what last year's looked like. And again, I know it's a little difficult to actually, say, hey, what are we excited for? Because these are indie games, right? They're probably not going to be games where you're like, oh, yeah, I'm really excited for the next one or whatever, right? It's probably going to be games where you're like, well, I don't know. Because they're just new. So this one's called Mondo Museum, for example. And again, you can see oh, wow. This looks almost exactly like Roller Coaster Tycoon. This looks like a Roller Coaster Tycoon, but instead it looks like maybe a museum. That's pretty cool. But you can see a bunch of these games. This is called Errand Boy. Looks like you're this little animal, and I guess you probably run errands. But yeah, the idea is that these are all wholesome, cute. I did not know this existed last year, so I'm excited because I'd like to watch this. And see if there are games that I might want to try. I've been a really big fan of short games recently, so I think this is going to be a good one for me. If there's any short, cute games that I might want to just pick up and play, we might find them. We might find them here. A new reaction says Katana Zero is a good game by them. I think you're talking about Devolver Digital. Couldn't agree more. And then I'll miss this day. My flight is all day. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Hey, watch the trailers afterwards, right? Or maybe you might see something that comes up. It looks like this movie was only 30 minutes. Granted, I don't know how many games there were. It doesn't look like there were nearly as many. It says it's 50. 50 cute and cozy indie games. So we're going to get 25 more on top of that. So maybe this will be an hour or 45 minutes. We'll see. Any interest, Gil, in watching wholesome indie games? Are you more of a non-wholesome indie game person?
I honestly don't really have much of an opinion on it. I mean, I don't really play. I haven't played a wholesome indie game, so
I've never played a wholesome indie game before.
I don't know.
Okay, hey, fair enough. Well, I wanted to go ahead and highlight it for those that might be interested. Like I said, there's a lot going on, and this is an entire showcase. So this is literally 3 showcases already that day. Devolver Digital, they're going to be showing at least an hour worth of content. Guerrilla Collective is going to be showing a ton. And then Wholesome Direct. So it's a lot of time to be looking at game trailers. And you know me, again, I will be streaming all Saturday. It's going to be a good time. And then, of course, the big one. Ubisoft Forward. Now, I have a love and hate relationship with Ubisoft, but they actually give us a lot of information here. So let me go through this first, and then, Gil, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Tune in at 11 a.m. PT to catch the pre-show featuring content from the latest games, For Honor, Trackmania, The Crew 2, Brawlhalla, Watch Dogs Legion, and more. So they always have a pre-show. So if you're wondering what's been going on with some of the games that maybe you like but haven't really been showcased much, there's that in the pre-show. And then the main show kicks off 12 p.m. Pacific time. And so 12 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to see things from, and this is probably my favorite, Rainbow Six Quarantine, which is no longer called Rainbow Six Quarantine. Actually, it says, catch all the details about the next mainline entry in the Rainbow Six franchise, formerly known as Rainbow Six Quarantine. This is also now them telling us this is a brand new mainline entry. This is not Rainbow Six Siege / Quarantine or Rainbow Six Siege Quarantine Edition. No, this is a brand new Rainbow Six Siege game, or Rainbow Six game, excuse me, literally just said counter to what I was saying. Rainbow Six, whatever it's going to be called. I'm excited for this. I actually was a big fan of Rainbow Six Vegas back in the day. Played it with my friends because it was, a classic co-op game. You go in, kill the terrorists or whatever it is, and it was fun. So when they mentioned Rainbow Six Siege, I was actually upset about it, because we were supposed to be getting a game, I believe it was called Rainbow Six Patriots, and that got canceled, and instead they made Rainbow Six Siege. Now, obviously, it was a good deal for Ubisoft. Rainbow Six Siege is one of the most popular first-person shooters on the planet, but now they're going after PvE with Quarantine. So we're getting that. They also mentioned that we're going to see more Far Cry 6, which, if you guys are into Far Cry 6 already had kind of a big release. They showed a gameplay trailer. I like Far Cry 6, but they kept making Far Cries really fast. And I was like, dude, I'm burnt out. I can't keep playing these games.
Yeah.
So
everyone knows how good Far Cry 3 is.
Yeah.
And even 4 is like pretty good.
They're all good. Yeah.
But like the newer ones are just kind of like, they're not bad games, but they're like,
it's a lot of the same, right? It's just,
yeah.
I mean, they're good games. Like, don't get me wrong. It's just a lot. It's like, oh my god, like we're on another island, we're shooting more people, we're going to another like location, like where you go to a tower and unlock the rest of the island. It's the same thing every time, and it gets a little tiring. So there's been a lot of time, I think, from the last one, at least enough time, at least for me, since I haven't kept playing them. So I'm personally excited for Far Cry 6. And we're also going to see Riders Republic. Riders Republic is another game that we're going to see. I was saying that it looks like a spiritual successor to their snowboarding game. They had like a snow sports game, Ubisoft did. I don't know if I might even be able to find it, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, it was they had snowboarding, skiing, like not parasailing, but they had some sort of like, I don't know. It was, you could go to the mountains and you could use any sort of snow thing and do different stuff. This is a bunch of things. This is snowboarding, skateboarding, biking, gliding. It's a bunch of different things. So I don't know. I don't really have I don't really have a horse in this race on this one. But we'll see. Steep. Thank you, New Reactions. It was called Steep. I think this is a spiritual successor to Steep. I'm sure it has a lot of Steep's DNA. But it just looks like there's more. I'd be surprised. Apparently, you can pre-order this game. I'm kind of surprised that it costs money. This looks like one of those games where you'd be able to buy it, or you'd be able to play it for free, and then buy a bunch of cosmetics or something. But apparently, this is a fully priced game. Ubisoft has gotten away with that in the past, where they have games, you got to buy the entire game, and now they're some of the biggest games in the world. But we also know that Ubisoft is focusing on free-to-play games. We actually just talked about this recently. Let me see if I can quickly find... Oh, it's not on here. Come on, it's got The Division. They recently announced that there is a brand new Division game that is free-to-play that's coming out. I think it was called The Division Heartland. And I don't remember if you and I talked about this, Gil. Was it us? I think it was. No, it was. Remember, we were talking about like free-to-play open world games. Destiny Killer. Yeah. And The Division Heartland was announced. So, I wouldn't be surprised. And there's Steep right there. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some free-to-play games finally be announced. I know that there is a Watch Dogs DLC coming out, as far as I've heard. Hyperscape, it was supposed to be going through a huge revamp, so we might see Hyperscape come back into the news. But going back to the actual thing here, Again, if you keep moving forward, you can see updates to Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Rainbow Six Siege. Apparently, they're working with Apple TV's series Mythic Quest. Apparently, they're adding some things into there, and a soon-to-be-released movie, Werewolves Within. So apparently, Ubisoft has a film and TV section now as well. So, yeah, there's going to be some cool things here. Gil, what are you most excited for when it comes to Ubisoft? And if you want to see, again, their franchises, I'll just kind of scroll through this little by little. But is there anything in particular that you're like, oh, man, love Ubisoft. Yeah. This is what I'm excited for.
I'm interested to see what they got for Far Cry 6. I'm more excited about the pre-show.
Interesting. Really?
I used to be a huge For Honor fan.
Oh, you don't come across as a For Honor guy.
I used to love that game when it first came out. Then they started adding like the new warriors, and it started getting a little busted.
That's always the hardest thing, right? Is balancing.
So I'm interested to see what they're doing there, and I'm actually a Brawlhalla player to this day.
Hey, Brawlhalla's a good game.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a group of friends that I play that with, just whenever we feel like playing it, because it's not like a super competitive game, even though it does have like an esports section, which is funny to me. But
it's similar to Melee, right? I mean,
yeah,
if you play Melee, you could definitely play that as fun as you want, or definitely as competitive
toxic
as you want.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed, man, like, what a roller coaster of a series,
right?
Like, such high highs and such low lows at the same time. Like, you had the Ezio collection, which I actually own and have downloaded on my PlayStation right now.
Wow, okay.
Because 2 Brotherhood and Revelations are like the best games in the series. 4 was fun. And it just went downhill until Origins came out. Origins is actually a good game.
Do you think we'll see a Assassin's Creed?
No. They said they'd stop making like Assassin's Creed like yearly.
Yeah, I do. I think we'll get, like you said, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla update.
Yeah.
Right. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed since Black Flag. And 4. I don't really foresee myself getting back into Assassin's Creed. Honestly, like ever. I mean, unless there's like some transformative thing that happens with Assassin's Creed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the games are bad. They're kind of long, and to me, they always felt a little mediocre.
Story always was just kind of meh.
I mean, the originals were novel,
Yeah.
right? And I think, I used to watch my friends play them and be like, "Wow, this is so cool." And then I was when it was my turn, and I played Black Flag, and I was like, "Wow, this is great." I didn't end up beating it, and then every single one after that, the ratings were just like bad, and everyone was like, "These are trash," and I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm never gonna play this game again." And I didn't love it anyway, so
yeah. I played Unity, which was a co-op game.
Oh, right. I remember that. I remember Unity.
Yeah, that one was actually really fun. Co-op online. It was pretty fun. I had a friend I played it with. And Odyssey is really good. If you played it all the way through. It is a big game. That game is really good, obviously. It got nominated for Game of the Year for a reason.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think
that's probably their biggest highlight in the most recent years. But
yeah, I agree with you. So is there a particular thing that you're like, I really want to see, or is it you're just kind of waiting for the For Honor update?
Yeah, I want to see what they do with For Honor. If they make any big changes to it at all.
Sure. Hey, that works for me.
I don't know. Let's get a new South Park game. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ubisoft fan, actually. I'm actually I actually get really frustrated with Ubisoft, but I don't want to see them like not succeed or anything, you know. Like Ubisoft had some really big issues with sexual harassment and things like that. I don't know if people remember that. I want to say like a year or two ago, I made a video about it. I was really upset, and I think hopefully they've been doing what they need to do to come back and make a change. I actually really wanted to play Hyperscape, and I decided not to play Hyperscape because of the allegations and the issues. And they weren't allegations; they were proven, and it was it was bad. But I would like to see a Hyperscape comeback. I like the way that Hyperscape feels. It just doesn't play. It's just the balancing is really bad, and it felt like they didn't make it for console at all. So I'm really hoping that Ubisoft Forward says Hyperscape is back. Here's what it looks like now, and they explain all of the changes, and they make a comeback. Ubisoft is excellent at comebacks. I don't know what it is. But they constantly make comebacks. So I would love to see a Hyperscape comeback. I would also really like to see, of course, Rainbow Six Quarantine, whatever that's going to be. I really wanted to like Siege. I know the gameplay is excellent, but I just don't like that kind of gameplay for me personally. It's like way too competitive, and I just don't care enough. When a game is just competitive, I never find myself getting involved or interested because I never get to like it enough before it gets competitive for me, right? Like I just have to be competitive day one. So for me, I'm really excited for Quarantine though, because I'm ready for some PvE action again, which the only game, what's the last PvE shooter anyone's played? Probably Destiny 2. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, cooperative, like, there's Far Cry, but I mean, that's about it. And then there's a bunch of third person shooters, but Rainbow Six, I'm really hoping brings this first person zombie cooperative shooter, and I think they can do it really, really well. So we'll see what happens there. Really excited for that. And then something that New Reactions mentioned is, of course, The Division, Heartland, I am interested in. Free-to-play games, I'm never going to look away from. The Crew 2, they mentioned. I've never got to play The Crew. I think I own it technically because we got it for free or something. But I do like racing games, so you never know. But this game right here is the game that I'm most excited for. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Beyond Good and Evil 2 is transformative from Beyond Good and Evil 1. And the gameplay... I'm hoping... New Reactions actually says it's in development hell. I'm hoping it's not in development hell. I'm hoping that they're just giving them the time to develop this game as slowly as they want. It's ambitious. It's extraordinarily ambitious. And so I'm hoping it's just as ambitious as they originally set out for it to be, and it's just taking years upon years to get it to us. The original stuff that they showed to us. Have you heard of Beyond Good and Evil, Gil?
I've heard of it, but I never played it.
Have you heard about the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen gameplay? Yeah, so I they showed us gameplay a while back. I want to say 2 E3s ago or something. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see an update to this. I think it's really exciting, and there's such a cult following that cult followings can really boost a game to stardom these days. I mean, look at Persona, look at Nier. These games were little cult groups like, oh my god, I love this game, and they just made it blow up, and everybody loves these games and reveres them. So I'm really hoping that this game gets announced, that it's not in development hell. I'll cry if it is. I'll cry if it doesn't come out. The last thing apparently we heard from them on their website was a year ago. So sounds like it might be time for us to get an update. So that's the biggest thing for me. They didn't mention it, so if they don't bring it up, oh well. But Quarantine might save the day for me. So we'll have to wait and see. So that is... let me go back to our profile really quick. That is Ubisoft Forward. Next is Gearbox Entertainment. So they did actually mention on Twitter, of course. Actually, no, I don't think they did mention on Twitter. I think I just posted their Twitter because I wanted to see it. So Gearbox, this is an interesting one. If you don't know, Gearbox, it's really confusing. Gearbox is owned by 2K. 2K is owned by Take-Two. So it's a really weird thing. But Gearbox has a lot of its own stuff. I don't like their president, Randy Pitchford. He's a creep.
Yeah.
But the people that work there make some really great games. And of course, the number one being Borderlands. Borderlands 1 was a good game. Borderlands 2 was a phenomenal game. Borderlands 3 is a good game. I will not, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a good game. The pre-sequel is a good game. They're good. So it's interesting to see what they might do. Brother in Arms, there hasn't been a Brothers in Arms game in a really long time. Duke Nukem is a bizarre game. Some people like the hypermasculinity on it. Look, I'm not gonna, judge you. Half-Life, they actually did help on the original Half-Life games. Homeworld, this is actually a really big deal for some people. You'll see some other games here as well. My favorite, of course, being Battleborn, the best game that just never had a chance. Yeah. Gil, you're a big Borderlands fan. You absolutely love Borderlands 2. And you enjoyed Borderlands 3, if I remember correctly.
Borderlands 3, while not being the most story, I mean, it's hard to combat a story as good as 2, especially with a villain like Handsome Jack. Like,
right.
the Calypso twins just do not match that energy, or even come close to beating it.
Yeah.
But gameplay, this is the best Borderlands game by far.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's very good.
So what do you think we might see from an E3 press conference, basically?
I mean,
30 minutes at minimum, right? Like, what do you think we're going to see?
Obviously not another game. Maybe a spin-off game, but definitely not like 4.
Let's talk about that. So there's been some rumors. There's been some rumors that there is a Tiny Tina spin-off game. I don't know anything about it. It's just a rumor. But there is a rumor about a Borderlands spin-off. Again, I literally know nothing about it. I think there was a name. I think it was called Borderlands Guardians or Borderlands Heroes or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, there is some rumors that there might be a spin-off game. If you were to get a Borderlands spin-off game, Gil, what would you want? What would you... I mean, obviously this game is a looter shooter. But if there was a spin-off, what would it be for you?
A Tiny Tina one would be interesting and I think very funny. I think that would be the goal, right? But I would like to see one that takes place with the first Vault Hunters.
Okay.
If you remember Tyson DeLeon.
Tyson
Danny
DeLeon!
DeVito guy. Yeah.
My name's Tyson DeLeon!
Yeah. I would like to see that. Maybe just like a story based on because we got a lot of lore actually in Borderlands 3. That was actually a big thing in that game.
They definitely stretched the universe out where they were like, hey,
sure.
you knew the story of Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, definitely Borderlands 2. Borderlands 3, let's expand the universe, which unfortunately I think took a toll on the storytelling, but the universe is there.
Yeah, I'd like to see because we got all those recordings. What was it, 90?
Yeah, it was
about the first siren or one of the first sirens. The first siren. About how she had to trap the destroyer and stuff. And the twist at the end where Tyreen becomes the destroyer. I was like, oh, okay.
So what? So if it's a spinoff, do you think it would be just another first person shooter with a looter shooter, or do you think it would be something different?
I would hope it would be something different. Not like
a side scroller.
Yeah,
turn-based RPG.
Yeah, that'd actually be kind of cool.
We could see it.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard with a game like Borderlands to go somewhere else than a looter shooter. If it was like just a straight up story game, I'd be cool with that.
Yeah, we have had that, right? Tales of the Borderlands. We have
Yeah,
had that.
stuff like that. That would be cool. But that's not in that format.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. A Tiny Tina spinoff sounds awesome and funny. Hopefully, but I want more about the lore of the game and not like one character. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Tiny Tina. Like, who
Yeah,
doesn't?
she's great.
But
I loved her Borderlands 2 DLC.
yeah,
That one was great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see another thing that was announced at one point. This was a long time ago. So bizarrely enough, I actually I've been part of like testing for Gearbox for a while. So I tested Battleborn back in the day before it was even called Battleborn, and I tested this game called Project 1v1. It was I don't think I can really talk about it honestly. I don't really know what I'm allowed to talk about, but
sign that NDA.
yeah. So I'm not really going to say anything too intense, but it's probably obvious. It's a 1v1 game, and it was interesting. I think Gearbox has an interest in having a successful PvP game. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sort of DNA from Project 1v1 or Battleborn come into a hero ability shooter of some sort within the Borderlands universe. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, I mentioned it before. I think one of the reasons that I couldn't get behind Borderlands 3 all the way is because I think I'm just a little over it. In the sense where I was like, yeah, I mean, this is fine, but it's a lot of fart jokes. It's, a lot of stupid humor that I think at this point I'm good on. And I know some people love it and are okay with it, but for me, I'm just not really that interested. And I honestly thought, and a lot of people thought, and I'm wondering if you thought, did you think they were going to do like a Border Worlds, like a Destiny style, MMO style, online massive game where it would update over time? Or before Borderlands 3, when we kind of knew that they were working on one, for me, I always thought that was going to be the case, and they didn't do it. And I was like, dude, what other game franchise can actually combat Destiny? Borderlands. And I was like, what's going on? That always made me really upset.
It's gotten to the point that D2 is like, while Borderlands 3 is still very popular, like the YouTube side of Borderlands 3 is pretty
it's there.
avid.
It's nothing like Destiny's,
but it's nothing
there.
like Destiny's.
Right.
Yeah. Like Destiny 2 is like miles popular than Borderlands 3. And I mean, I would like that even idea alone of having a Destiny style Borderlands 3. Oh my God, Shane.
I thought they were going to do it. I mean, they literally at the end of Borderlands 2, they show all of the different vaults, and I was like, dude, they're going to make Border Worlds. It's going to be this big MMO thing. It's going to be like year over year. They're just going to add content. You're going to have a transforming character. You're going to be able to change different characters, do different things. It's going to be awesome. They were like, yep, Borderlands 3, which I'm not mad about Borderlands 3, but it was just one of those things where it's like, well, can you do something new? Can you try something different? We'll see what happens. I don't want to dive too deep into it, but one thing I did want to mention as well, we're not going to get Battleborn 2. We do have the possibility of a Borderlands spinoff, but one thing that I could see is maybe a little Godfall update. Godfall is a game by Gearbox.
They didn't make it. They published it, right?
Yeah, publisher. Yeah, it was developed by Counterplay. But this has been published by Gearbox. I would be definitely interested in seeing if this gets any sort of change or rework. Well, if you look here, it looks like there's a little bit of a teaser. I don't actually think there's any sound. But there's this, random thing. Obviously, you got the eyes. There's no date or anything like that. Now, this might actually mean something, but this says, hey, maybe there's a massive update, Godfall on PS Plus with crossplay. Who knows? What does this mean? Eyes, PC, like who knows? So there could be a Godfall update. Now I'm not a Godfall guy. I never played it because the ratings were bad. But hey, again, I think more and more we're seeing games try and be revitalized. You spend millions of dollars to make the game. It doesn't make its money back, or it does, but it's not much. Why get rid of it when you could have a comeback? Ubisoft 101. So I think we're either going to see Godfall. I think we will see Godfall. I think we will see Borderlands. And we might see a Risk of Rain update. I know that's a really big deal for Gearbox. That's been working really well for them. But I think outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. I'm actually surprised they don't show some of this other stuff. I mean, when you look at games, it just shows their franchises, and they don't actually show the other games that they've published, which I find very bizarre. But anyway, that's it might be because it's Gearbox software. But anyway,
then they sorry, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Go for it.
Like they released the 4 DLC for Borderlands 3, and I played all of them because I love the game. And they were all pretty decent. The third one was kind of the Handsome Jackpot DLC was pretty cool, and so was Guns, Love, and Tentacles. I think was easily the best one. And then they come out with a Season Pass 2, and like the director's cut.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? Like, that game had so much potential, like you said. Like, that's what they should have done. I didn't expect them to do it going in, but after I saw that cutscene, I felt the exact same way. I was like, you have all these different vaults, and you're not going to capitalize on that. Like, if there was going to be a Destiny killer, that would be it. And nothing happens. Yeah,
it's definitely upsetting. I did finally found Gearbox Publishing. Took me a little bit, but like I said, Godfall. I can see a Godfall update coming. I forgot that they published Trover. I don't think we're going to see anything with Trover, but I actually think I own this game and I haven't played it. Risk of Rain, I think we might get another update for. That game has been kind of like a silent killer. It's been doing really well, so I could see that game having some cool things be announced. Hello Neighbor, obviously Hello Neighbor 2 is coming out, so we could see that as well. But I think that's pretty much it. A Bulletstorm 2 would be the best. But I don't think we're going to see that either, because this was just a publishing of Full Clip.
Did you play We Happy Few?
I did not. It didn't get very good ratings, so I kind of just like skipped it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
I do like weird stuff. I think I like weird stuff, and I was excited for it to be good, but then the ratings were just kind of like, man, I was like, I think I'm good then. Like, if it's, I don't know, it's all right. I heard the DLC was really good, I think, so I think kind of left it at that. But all right, well, I don't want to harp on this forever. We've obviously already been talking about this for a while, so let's move on. That's Gearbox. Again, hopefully we see Tiny Tina. Oh, I completely forgot. So I'm glad I put this note here. There are also rumors of a brand new Gearbox franchise. So this is a big deal, and I should have mentioned this because again, if you look at Gearbox and we go to Gearbox Software, they don't have a lot of franchises. They have Borderlands, they have Brothers in Arms, which they're never going to bring out again because you have to compete against other war games. They're not doing that. Duke Nukem, which I think these are the games that they made. They don't own Duke Nukem. Half-Life, which again, they obviously don't own Half-Life. Homeworld, which is never going to be a hit. And that's about it. And then again, these are other games that they helped with. Obviously, they don't own Halo, which means the only franchise they have that is popular is Borderlands. Battleborn didn't work, which I think
Yeah.
it could have, but it didn't. And so they have to make a brand new franchise if they want to be, you know, I mean, at this point, it's funny. You look at Bungie; they made Destiny 1, and Gearbox is killing it with Borderlands 2, and then they make Destiny 2, and it's making them lots and lots of money. You'd think that Borderlands or Gearbox Software would have caught up, but they haven't really. And again, Gearbox is it's part of a massive company, two massive companies. But so yes, that was the other thing I wanted to mention. Sorry, I forgot to mention that part. Is that there's a new franchise that's also supposed to be talked about as well. New Reaction says there's only one 2K game I want, and that's a new BioShock. We are going to be talking about 2K, so we'll save that for when we get there. Next is something that I honestly don't know much about, so we probably won't spend too much time on this, but Devious Eye Entertainment Showcase. This is Devious... Oh, God, that was so loud.
Yeah, it scared me.
Why is this so loud? Sorry, guys. So, Devious Eye Entertainment, I don't know what this is. Devious Eye Entertainment, it says, apparently they have an E3 thing going on, obviously. They have a Twitch channel. It'll pop up. We'll watch it at some point. But when you go to their publishing site, I'm assuming they're a publisher, you can click on the one thing that you can see here for games, and it's called Before the Storm. And when you go to Before the Storm, it looks like they've been working on some games. So maybe they're the developers, it seems like. And if you scroll down, it says they have a mission. Looks like their mission is basically to make games and some other things. But they've only made 2 games. And if you look at these games, I'm not making fun of them, but you can tell that they're more projects than anything. They're not exactly the most impressive visuals or anything like that. Looks like this is probably just supposed to be like a classic scary game, inventory management, Resident Evil kind of thing. It doesn't really look like it's one of those things. It has 3 user reviews. And if you click on Devious Eye, again, these are the only 2 things that show up. And if you go back and you go to Before the Storm, again, these are the only 2 things that show up. And let's click on the other one, Last Shot. And you can see here, this is kind of like a... All right, that's way too big.
That logo looks terrible.
You can see it's kind of just like a first-person shooter. It's not out yet. Maybe it looks like it's PvP, saying that there's a 0 and 1 up top. But it's not released, so maybe they're going to talk about this game? I'm honestly not sure, but it was very surprising. Anyway, I'm obviously at a loss for words here, guys. I don't know what this is. I'm not really sure why they have a press conference, but they do. And so, if you guys want to see what this is all about, then June 12th. I will probably stream this because I am that intrigued at what this could possibly be. And we're going to be looking at the rest of this stuff anyway. So don't want to spend a lot of time on that. But yeah. And then the final thing is GamesBeat, which is a VentureBeat's game division, which is like they're a media company. They're going to have their own E3 session. My assumption is that they'll also do interviews, gameplay reveals and things like that. So be aware of that as well. All right, we're finally coming to the close of the weekend, Sunday, June 13th, and that's where we get to the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. So this is probably the biggest thing at E3. Of course, Ubisoft's big, and obviously that Koch Gaming was a big one, bigger than I think most people realized. But this is the one, right? This is Xbox and Bethesda. This is wild. From what I understand, is it's actually Xbox and then later it's Bethesda. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Gil, what are you thinking? What do you think we're gonna see?
I mean, I'm fully expecting a Halo Infinite trailer.
Yeah,
Fully expecting it.
yeah.
I highly doubt that we're not going to get one. I would also love to see an Elder Scrolls 6 trailer for Bethesda.
I don't think we're gonna get that.
Maybe not.
It's
but I would
possible.
like to see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's possible.
Or maybe we'll just get another port for Skyrim.
Honestly, probably.
Probably a Minecraft update. I mean, it's Xbox. Like the games that are going to premiere, they're going to premiere here. So, considering Sony just isn't part of it this time, or doesn't have a press conference this time, so any new games or any trailers for games that got announced last year, they're going to come out here. For games like Halo Infinite, maybe even Elder Scrolls with Bethesda, any ongoing game trailers. What's another one?
Yeah, I wanted to just bring this up really quickly. As a reminder for Xbox Game Studios, there's a lot of them. A lot of brand new ones. So we've got Obsidian. I know I'm really excited for Obsidian. The game I'm most interested in is Avowed. This is their, bizarrely enough now, oh no, this is going to be way too loud. Hold on. There we go. This is going to be their Elder Scrolls competitor.
We have always known.
Which is awkward because they own Bethesda. Microsoft owns Bethesda. But I'm really hoping to see Avowed. This would be awesome. They showed it to us. I don't remember when they showed this to us. I don't remember if it was E3. I think this might have been. Man, when was this? I don't know when this was. I don't know when this was. But they showed us Avowed a while back. So from Obsidian, that's what I'm really excited to see. Ninja Theory could have some interesting games come out. I mean, honestly, they have. We know that the second. God, what was this game called? Why can't I think of what this game is called?
Senua.
Yeah. Senua's Sacrifice, which is now Senua's Saga, apparently. Hellblade 2. So we know that this is coming out. Oh, and apparently they've got other projects in mind. So Ninja Theory has some games. Oh man, sad. You know the saddest part? Heavenly Sword. I love this game. It was a PS3 exclusive. Anyway, sorry. I'm sad. It makes me sad. But yeah, so that could be another thing that we see. Compulsion Games, they're the ones that made We Happy Few, right?
I think so.
I think that was them. Let's see. Our games.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like I can easily click on that. Our games. Yeah. We Happy Few. They also made Contrast, which was a PlayStation exclusive, I thought. So yeah, I didn't actually make that many games, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see something from Compulsion, since we haven't seen anything from them in a really long time. The only thing we've seen from them is We Happy Few, really. Contrast was like a small indie game, kind of. I hope a Fable-like game will be announced. So Fable was announced as well. It wasn't at E3, though. I don't remember what it was at. But that was also announced. Maybe they just did a showcase. So maybe we will get a little bit more information on Fable. The Coalition, they're the guys that make Gears of War. We haven't heard from them in a while. Maybe there'll be an update. I don't think we're going to see another Gears of War game soon. I think they need a lot of time. World's Edge, I don't even know. Oh, that's right. That's the Age of Empires guys. I don't think we'll hear from them. But yeah, then I think that we're going to see Halo for sure. I think we're definitely going to see Halo. Undead Labs could be interesting as well. These are the guys that make State of Decay. And State of Decay 2, I want to say came out maybe 2 years ago. So maybe either an update or something new from them. But this is a really great time for them. I think this is going to be just a really good time for Xbox to say, hey, there's no new consoles out in the wild. When they finally appear, you should buy Xbox, and here's why. Right? They have time now. I mean, PlayStation is still outselling them, but there's still not that many out there. So this is the time for them to say, hey, we're going to show you this, that, and the other thing. We're going to show you what's new from Minecraft. We're going to show you the new Forza. We're going to show you Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox.
Yeah. I think about the whole console thing,
Yeah.
I think both Sony and Xbox and Microsoft, they need to like make a statement or something that's like either like an apology for how they've released them, or like a statement of we are going to mass release them soon or something. Because I mean, when did they come out? November?
Yeah.
It's June, and I can't get it in my cart at Best Buy for more than 5 seconds before it sells out.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they're going to do an apology. I mean, I think they'll probably say thank you and hold tight. I mean, it's COVID's fault, you know? I mean, I think they're not going to, I mean, sure, maybe it was their inability to change quickly, but I mean, it's COVID, it's scalpers, it's bots. If anything, they're not going to put the blame on themselves, right? Yeah. PlayStation's definitely not. Xbox might do it for good graces, but PlayStation would never admit to like, oh, it's our fault. I don't disagree with you, though. I mean, I think it would be great for them to come out and say, and I don't think they can make statements like, oh, we're going to have a mass drop soon. Like, I think that's dangerous to make that statement.
Yeah.
And then have a bunch of bots buy them up. So.
Yeah.
New reactions. The Fable game was announced. It was announced, again, I don't remember when it was announced. I can look it up for you really quickly, though. Yeah, right here. Yeah, Xbox Showcase. I guess Xbox just had a showcase. Right, that's what Playground's working on.
The world is filled with stories of legendary heroes and treacherous villains, of fantastical creatures and wondrous places where nature and magic live in perfect harmony. Not all stories have happy endings. But yours has yet to be written.
So, brand new Fable game. So yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see like what these companies are working on. I mean, in some ways, I would even say it might be smart for them to literally just go through studio by studio and be like, here's what we're working on. Here's what we're working on. It's 3 years out, 5 years out. We're not even close, but we're working on it. And then, obviously you drop the big ones like, hey, we've got Halo, 20 minutes of gameplay, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
What do you think? So you mentioned that you want to see it Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, of course. I think we're going to see a Starfield. If people don't know what Starfield is, it's their newest franchise. It's their answer to space RPG. It's their answer to Mass Effect. I mean, I think we're going to see it. See it. It's literally never been shown. There's so many leaks about it. Xbox just bought Bethesda. I think they need to make a statement that's like, there is an Xbox exclusive coming out, and it's Starfield. And you're done. That's it. There is an Xbox exclusive, and it's Starfield. We also have another Xbox exclusive. It's Elder Scrolls Elder Scrolls 6. Another teaser. They could definitely not show Elder Scrolls. I still doubt they're going to show Elder Scrolls. I definitely think they're going to show Starfield, and then they go into their normal stuff, right? They talk about Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, unfortunately, and I don't know, whatever else. Doom. Oh, we got a brand new Doom DLC coming out. Man, I haven't thought about Bethesda in a long time now. It's kind of crazy. I'm like trying to think about it. They're definitely going to talk about Elder Scrolls Online because Oblivion. Oh my God, I say this every single year. Oblivion remake, Oblivion, remaster. They're never going to do it, but it's okay. That's right. They're going to talk about Deathloop. They'll talk about Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't think they're going to bring Rage back out. Maybe something with Wolfenstein, but yeah, that's pretty much everything. Any other thoughts, Gil?
No.
All
I just want to beat the PS5 already.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's Xbox. This is going to be a big one. Of course, I'll be streaming it, so keep your eyes open for that. The next one is the Square Enix Showcase. It's a big one as well. I actually took, I was looking, for the website and things like that, but I actually found a press release. Square Enix loves to do old school, and they have a full press release saying, Square Enix presents Summer Showcase to air on June 13th during Digital E3 2021 event. Company teases world premiere of a new game from Eidos Montreal. We're going to talk about that in just a sec. Updates for Life is Strange True Colors, Babylon's Fall. If you don't know Babylon's Fall, we'll talk about that as well. Marvel's Avengers, and more. Again, they talk a little bit more about that. They say it's about to be about 40 minutes. Again, that world premiere for Eidos Montreal. Exciting update on Babylon's Fall. Marvel's Avenger expansion, Black Panther, War for Wakanda. And then a deep dive into Life is Strange. So I actually think that's all we're going to get. I don't think we're going to see anything more. If we do, I think we'll see it during other showcases. I don't think we're going to see Final Fantasy 16. I think that was kind of like a teaser for the PS5. And I think they were like, oh, yeah, like, get excited. And I think now it's probably just going to be like like, let it sit for a while, let it incubate. And that was it's only been a year. So, I think they probably will wait, or we'll see it somewhere else. Are you excited for any of this, by the way, Gil? It's not a lot.
Yeah. I'm excited for Square Enix just because it's Square Enix. Did you remember back like a few years ago where they were like going bankrupt or something?
Oh, they weren't doing well. I know financially they weren't doing well. Yeah.
And then they what did they do? They released what was it, Kingdom Hearts 3?
I don't know when or where, but yeah.
Yeah. They've been doing well recently, especially since they had to flip the switch and push the red button to get FF7 Remake out.
Yeah. They've been doing really well. I think Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy 14 has been making them money for a long time. People love that game. People pay for it every month. It's a monthly subscription. When's the last time you paid a monthly subscription for a game? People love that game. There's obviously been, like you had just mentioned, Kingdom Hearts. But yeah, I mean, there's or Final Fantasy 7. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what we get from Square Enix, the showcase or whatnot. I forgot Outriders was actually a Square Enix game. That's interesting. Interesting. Oh, right, Forspoken. That's right. I forgot about that. That's that old Project Athia. Forspoken. That's going to be an interesting one to see. We'll see what happens. I wanted to dive really quickly into Babylon's Fall and just generally Eidos Montreal. I like Eidos Montreal. I like them a lot. And originally, I thought Eidos Montreal was going to be in trouble. Here's why. Marvel's Avengers did really poorly. Not to say that it didn't make money. I'm sure it made money. Also, just to answer your question really quickly, new reactions. Yes, Warner Bros. Is part of E3, and we will be talking about that in a bit. Marvel's Avengers didn't do well. Again, not saying it didn't sell, but it didn't do well. Tomb Raider is one of Eidos Montreal's only really successful franchises right now, but one of my favorite franchises is Deus Ex. Now, Deus Ex got pummeled into the ground by the hype train that was Cyberpunk 2077. But with Cyberpunk 2077 kind of out of the way, I don't know, man. Deus Ex might be able to make a comeback. So I'm a big Deus Ex fan. But what we do know is that they literally mentioned, if I can pull up the press release again, is that it's a brand new game, not necessarily a brand new franchise. So it is possible that we could see a Deus Ex franchise. They also have Thief, but when they brought Thief back, it didn't do very well. But that's pretty much everything. Is Thief, Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, and then, of course, they were able to get Marvel's Avengers, but this didn't do well. So we're going to get an update on Marvel's Avengers. Maybe we'll get another Tomb Raider, but I would like to see that come to rest for at least a little bit. And I would personally like to see a Deus Ex game. It has been a long time since we've seen a Deus Ex game. And I would love to see one. So that's where I'm at for Eidos Montreal. Do you have any interest in Eidos Montreal games, Gil?
Nah.
None of them? Tomb Raider?
I mean, I own Tomb Raider games, but I literally never played it because I haven't really ever been interested. You know?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I actually don't like Tomb Raider. I've tried every time. I don't like it. But Deus Ex is it's actually one of my favorite franchises. I like the first one. I like the second one. The ones that come from Eidos Montreal, not the original. And I would love to see a new one. Babylon's Fall. If people don't know about Babylon's Fall, the second you see who's developing Babylon's Fall, you will know why I am so excited. First of all, this apparently is a PlayStation exclusive, but you'll see it here, published by Square Enix and developed by Platinum Games. If you know me, my favorite developer on planet Earth is Platinum Games, which says a lot. I love Naughty Dog. I love a lot of companies that make awesome games, but I love Platinum. And Babylon's Fall is it's the next Platinum game. And look at it. It's very Platinum. It is very Platinum. Look at these combos. So we haven't gotten an update since 2019, which makes sense. So, we're 2 years in and we're getting an update. So I'm very excited to see what Babylon's Fall is really all about. All we saw originally was this gameplay. We really didn't get to see anything else but gameplay. So I'm excited to see more and understand what is this game going to be like. Is it, just climbing up, a giant tower? And is it boss battles? Is there story? Is there character creation? What exactly are we watching here? And this is, it's interesting because this is like, we really just don't know anything about it, but I know that they wanted this to be a big deal. This is just straight up Square Enix Platinum. Metal Gear Rising, best game. Couldn't agree with you more, man. So, and this was obviously talked about for PlayStation 4 too. So this wasn't even PlayStation 5. This is PlayStation 4. So we'll probably get an update about it being on PlayStation 5 and things like that. So that's Square Enix. Anything else you want to say about Square Enix, Gil?
If you didn't hear towards the beginning of the podcast, FF7 Intergrade comes out next Thursday.
Right.
Right. So be excited for that. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting that they're not going to talk about anything else. Maybe they will, but I would have thought they would talk about Final Fantasy again, just to mention it. But again, we could see that in other places. They might mention it during, Summer Games kickoff or something like that. So, or any of the numerous places. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. These next two we're actually going to go pretty quickly through: Future Games Show and the PC Gaming Show. If you guys have seen E3 before, the PC Gaming Show has always been kind of like a weird one. The PC Gaming Show is a little hard to kind of put your finger on because it's for kind of like PC exclusives. Usually they'll have a host, and then they'll go ahead and just kind of go through games that are coming out for the PC. It'll be interesting. We will probably stream it or co-stream it. I think some of the time when we're co-streaming, we might not actually be out there reacting. And so we might actually just be kind of watching and, probably getting food and things like that. But, if you are a PC gamer, and you're like, oh, I wonder what the PC has in store this year, take a look, watch it, and see what happens. So, I don't have a lot to say about that one, and we'll leave that there. The next one is the Future Games Show. I actually don't know much about this. I know it's by Games Radar. They say it's their digital games showcase, and it looks like it's presented actually by Daedalic Entertainment. And they're actually the ones who are showing or who are creating Lord of Rings Gollum. So maybe we'll see a little bit of that. It looks like they're also going to showcase a lot of other games as well. So this looks like it will actually be quite a big deal. It says that they're going to show from games from over 30 publishers, including Warner Bros., EA, Frontier, Team 17, and more. You can find more about the Future Games Show below, including detail from previous events and hosts, including the stars from Uncharted and Metal Gear. So yeah, this will be interesting to say the least. We'll definitely be covering this as well. It looks like this will be a bigger deal than I originally thought it was. So keep your eyes and ears open for the Future Games Show and the PC Gaming Show. But let's go ahead and jump into Warner Bros. Games. There was for a while there was a rumor that this was actually that Warner Bros. Was selling their games division. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Warner Bros. They own a lot more than I think a lot of people realize. Obviously, one of the ones that they mentioned most recently and had a lot of backlash was their Harry Potter RPG that was announced. Really, there was backlash just because of J.K. Rowling not being a great person, but the game generally has some pretty good reception. But if you look here, let's take a look at some of the franchises that they own. Mortal Kombat, Lego, period. So you can already see all the Lego games in here that are popping up. The Hitman franchise, but I don't believe they probably just publish it, because if I remember correctly, the Hitman franchise is now, they're an independent developer. So I believe that they're just the publishers there. Scribblenauts, which is probably more popular than people think it is. Injustice. We've got one of my favorite games, Middle-earth. Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor. I love Shadow of Mordor. Planned on playing Shadow of War, but never got around to it. A bunch of mobile games as well. You can see Game of Thrones Conquest. Game of Thrones Conquest. There we go. Arkham games. Got Arkham City, Arkham Knight. So it looks like these are all of the games that at least they want to showcase. So, Gil, let's start with you, man. What are you thinking? Warner Bros.
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
If there's one game I'm anticipating that even comes close to God of War, it's Hogwarts Legacy.
In terms of how good it is?
No, like just in terms of my own excitement.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Because I love Harry Potter. Like I literally have a shelf in my room dedicated to Harry Potter themed stuff. So I desperately want this game to be good, because this is like the perfect type of game they can do it with.
Yeah.
Like an open world Harry Potter wizard game that's like you can fight bosses and stuff. Dude, I'm sold.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy is
RPG.
it's definitely I'm surprised it's not here, you know? Like I'm surprised it's not like right on their front page. My assumption is because of the backlash from just Hogwarts Legacy in general. But yeah, I mean this is definitely a big one. If I remember correctly, I think WB was like, "Hey, we're going to like donate to some like trans friendly organizations and things like that." But I mean, yeah, I mean the thing is like, you know, Hogwarts Legacy is bringing the lore of Harry Potter front and center, right? And I think that's really, really interesting. So I do think this is a really big one. I still haven't even made the decision on how I feel about Hogwarts Legacy. I am not a big Harry Potter fan. So, I mean, I don't dislike it. But I think the jury's still out for me about how I feel about, you know, playing this game. I think at some point I'll get over it. That's my assumption. But we'll see. Any other WB franchises that you are interested in?
Star Wars, the Skywalker saga.
Wait. There's Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you said like just Star Wars, and I was like, whoa, wait, what? Like there's a like a separate Star Wars game, but gotcha. Okay, Lego Star Wars. I feel you. No Arkham game or.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Arkham series is over. So.
Well, there's that one game coming out, right? There's what's it called? Like Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. Yeah.
Gotham Knight. That game didn't come out yet, right? That game kind of. Yeah, Gotham Knights.
Yeah,
this is WB, right? It's so weird when you look up WB and how their game, like, those games don't show up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is because these are only released games that they're showing.
Yeah.
Or what, but
there's a new Lego Star Wars game coming out like towards like winter of this year, and it's covers every movie that's been released. I'm so excited because I love Lego games. I always have, mainly Lego Star Wars and Lego Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gotham Knights looks cool. Hogwarts Legacy, obviously, I'm excited for. I mean, yeah, J.K. Rowling's like not the greatest person in the world, obviously, but I don't think I'm a guy who the person who created the thing is a bad person. But if I like it separate from the person, I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, I think the argument is that you can't separate it because she's going to get paid, right? I think that's usually the argument. I'm not saying this isn't like you can't remove politics or thoughts and this kind of stuff from anything that you do. So we're just going to talk about it. But I think, I think the argument usually is don't support this because it supports her, right? If it was if it was fan fiction, right? If someone wrote a fan fiction of Harry Potter and instead of calling it Hogwarts, it was called Hogwash, and it was like Hogwash, Legacy, and, it took strongly from that, it would be different. But this is literally her work, and I think that makes it difficult when, she's literally transphobic, right?
Did she even have any direct influence on this game other than it just being a Harry Potter game?
I don't think that matters, right? I think the concern is that she's gonna get paid. Right. It's why people should not listen to R. Kelly, because R. Kelly will get paid, right? You can say, hey, you separate the music from the person, but they're getting paid. So you're not. You can personally separate it in your head, but they will get paid, right? So look, I'm not trying to tell you you're right or wrong. I'm just playing devil's advocate because I do think it's important to make a really informed decision. I know a lot. One of the things I feel bad for is if they're working on this game hard, and the piracy rate on this game is going to be extremely high. The main reason being because if people can find a reason to pirate, they will, and I think this gave people people will go at great lengths to make sure that this game is pirated. And I don't think they care what kind of DRM tool they have on it. But like I said,
It isn't like buy it from someone else.
I mean, I think some, people might go and buy it used, right? They might go ahead and buy, but who's got discs these days, right? I mean, I don't think it's buying it from someone else. I think what people will do is pirate it literally just straight off of a computer. But what I think is going to be the smart thing is I do think Hogwarts Legacy is going to release on Xbox Game Pass, PlayStation Now, and I think that's how people are going to play it. I think at some point they're going to have to say, hey, like, we need people to play this game. And I think people are going to play it. I think the vast majority of people don't care that J.K. Rowling is a bad person. I think the vast majority of people don't care about trans people, to be clear, which I think is rough. I think that's where you have to say, hey, where do I draw the line? But look, if I get this game for free on PlayStation Plus, if I get it free for Game Pass, if I get it free, I'll probably play it. Will I pay for it straight up? I don't think so, personally. I don't want to pay $60. Warner Brothers can figure that out for themselves. But anyway, again, I'm not trying to put any value judgments on anybody. That's Warner Brothers. New Reaction says, Monolith is all I care about. Good taste. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what they do. I don't know if they're going to do another Middle-earth game or what. I haven't heard any murmurs from them about what they're working on. But Shadow of War was a long time ago. So, I mean, I would be surprised, frankly, if we didn't hear from them sometime soon. It was released 2017. So, not that long ago. But long enough, I would say. Long enough. The New Reaction says, I want Fear. Yeah, Fear making a comeback I could actually see working out pretty well. I can see that. All right, well, let's move on from Warner Bros. We still have quite a bit to go through. Speaking of Warner Bros., Back 4 Blood is going to have its own little showcase moment. Gil, you're probably too young to have played Left 4 Dead, right?
Oh, I've played Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay, all right. I see you.
Yeah.
You're like, no. I'm no baby. Were you a Left 4 Dead fan? You like it?
Oh yeah, dude, Left 4 Dead 2 is lit.
You excited for Back 4 Blood?
Yes.
So I played this. I don't know if you were around or saw any streams or anything when we played this, but I played this with Mexican Synth, with Ein Taxi, some people from our clan and the Discord. But yeah, I love Back 4 Blood. I think it's great. I'm excited for more information. Apparently, the what we're hearing is the rumors is that we might see some PvP, which, by the way, doesn't mean straight up PvP, but classic Left 4 Dead PvP, which is now you're the zombie, right? So interested to see if we get some more information on that. Otherwise, I've literally seen a ton and played Back 4 Blood, and I just want it. So interested to actually learn more about it because I don't know what else they could tell us. I don't know if there's going to be a big update. I don't know if they're going to explain the full extent of what this game is actually is. But look, this game's coming out in months from now. It's coming out in October, so it's not a game that's coming out like super recent, but it is going to come out this year. So I have no idea what they're going to show us. You're excited for this then, Gil?
Yes.
All right. So we'll definitely, we might even just cover this. Again, it's the same day as a bunch of other things, so we might cover it by itself. And then the last thing for June 13th is 24 Entertainment. You might not have heard of 24 Entertainment, but they make a brand new Battle Royale that is all about mobility, parkour, grappling hooks, and melee attacks. I do believe that this game is by a Chinese developer, but don't quote me on that. But you can kind of see some of the gameplay here. I know it's probably a little hard to see, but I'm assuming that they're doing this for marketing and they just want to kind of show off what they've got. I know they've been doing testing and stuff with this game for a long time. I believe it's a PC exclusive. So if you're interested in melee combat, battle royale, go ahead and take a look at it. All right, from that, we are finally on to the next week. There are 2 days left. Monday, June 14th, we've got Take-Two Interactive. Now, you can see I don't have links here. It's because I was running out of time. So we're going to be Googling a lot of this. So we're going to do Take-Two Interactive E3 just to see if there's been any information. Doesn't look like it. It just looks like they confirm attendance. Oh, but it looks like there's leaks. It looks like there's leaks. Let's go ahead and take a look at these guys. Let's take a look. Take-Two Interactive. Oh, let's do their TLDR. A number of Take-Two Interactive games have been leaked online. This includes NBA 2K22. Don't care about that. Tina's Wonderlands. That's what it is. Tina's Wonderlands. Supposedly, it is a Borderlands spinoff. And one thing that I was already leaked, actually, even before this, was a Marvel strategy game from Firaxis Games. If you don't know Firaxis, they're the ones that make XCOM. I am a big XCOM fan. I played and beat the first game, never got a chance to play the second game. A Marvel game I don't know about. I do like Marvel, but in terms of games, we'll have to wait and see what the ratings look like on that one for me. And then apparently there is a game that is Cthulhu meets Saints Row from the Mafia developers. So these are 3 big things going on here. Borderlands spinoff, Marvel strategy game, and Cthulhu meets Saints Row from the Mafia developers. It's possible any of these games could be shown at E3, yada, yada, yada. So interesting information there. Now, of course, we would probably see the Tiny Tina spinoff at the Gearbox showcase. But for Take-Two, I think a lot of people get a little confused about Take-Two. Take-Two is massive. Take-Two owns massive companies. Take-Two owns Rockstar. Take-Two owns 2K. Take-Two owns Private Division. These are 3 of the biggest companies in gaming. Obviously, we all know Rockstar, which is, I think, the richest company in all of gaming, which makes Take-Two the richest game. It's funny because when you open up Rockstar, all you see is GTA Online content, a little bit of Red Dead Online content. Will we get new information about GTA Online and Red Dead Online? Probably. Will we get information about a GTA 6 or a Red Dead 3? Probably not. That's my assumption. What else do we see from Take-Two 2K? 2K obviously has NBA 2K, which has always done really, really well. But it also has XCOM, and this is where I think we'll see 2K has Firaxis Games on board, and that's where I think we'll see the Marvel strategy game happen. They also have the developers that work on Mafia, and apparently they're the ones working on Cthulhu meets Saints Row. So some interesting things there. Of course, you'll see Borderlands and stuff because 2K owns Gearbox. Again, this is where you start to see a lot of nested things. BioShock, it is possible we might see BioShock make a comeback. We know Irrational Games, which are the ones that make BioShock, are no longer part of 2K, so it is possible we'll see it happen from a different developer, but honestly, that's completely up in the air. And I wouldn't say there's much more else for us to take a look into. But it is interesting that we see all of that. So those are their 2 biggest, right? Rockstar, 2K. But we also have Private Division, and if people don't know Private Division, they're the ones that publish the Outer Worlds. They're also the ones that are publishing OlliOlli World, which, if you don't know OlliOlli, I love the OlliOlli franchise. OlliOlli and OlliOlli 2, I just love it. So OlliOlli World is really exciting. For some reason, their portfolio site doesn't pop up, so we can't actually see their games just yet. But that's Private Division. And then there's also Ghost Story. Ghost Story, if I remember correctly, they are like the publisher of some indie games, or at least a indie game, if I remember correctly. But it doesn't look like they've made a game yet. So we'll have to wait and see about Ghost Story. Maybe we'll get some information on that. Here we go. So here are the developers that Private Division has worked with. Roll7, they're the ones that have made OlliOlli. Of course, the Outer Worlds, Ancestors, Disintegration. Both of these obviously weren't successes necessarily. Kerbal Space Program, Moon Studios, which I don't know what they make. But again, these are the games. So they kind of, if I remember correctly, Private Division is their like indie. Like they work and publish like indie games. And then of course you have 2K, Rockstar normally. I don't know about Social Point or Dots or Nordeus. I've actually never heard of these as far as I'm aware. It looks like Social Point is probably mobile games. Yep, that looks like mobile games for the most part. Dots seems... Oh, I've played Dots. Oh, that's so funny. I've played this game. This is literally just like a mobile game. So it looks like they're a mobile game studio. And then you have Nordeus, which again is looks like another mobile game studio. I don't think we'll hear from any of those. I think we'll only hear from Ghost Story, Private Division, 2K, which again has its own thing. Actually, it doesn't. It's Gearbox, 2K. I don't think we'll hear from Rockstar. If we do, it'll just be online and things like that. That's my take. Gil, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, it's not something I'm super duper interested in. But Take-Two, I didn't even know that these guys own this much stuff in the first place. But yeah,
Really, I'm surprised. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm more interested in Nintendo, but
we'll get to Nintendo. Don't worry, we'll get to Nintendo. I'm surprised though. I mean, there's a lot here. I think especially when you look at Rockstar.
2K, yeah, 2K. I don't care about. I don't play sports games.
Well, yeah, but they're the ones that own Borderlands.
Other than Borderlands, but like sports games are mainly what 2K is about.
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, 2K has. I think you're used to hearing NBA 2K, but XCOM is a massive franchise. Borderlands is a massive franchise. BioShock is a massive franchise. I mean, I can keep going. Civ, I didn't even know that they published Civ. I mean, they have some major... I mean, Civilization is one of the biggest franchises like on planet Earth. So I don't think their bread and butter... You know, again, these are publishers, right? But I don't think, like, when you think 2K, I don't think it's fair to think, oh, NBA 2K. I mean, you could obviously think that, but, you know, when you take a look at all of these games, especially when you take a look at Civ or BioShock or XCOM. But if you have no interest in any of those, it's a big breadth of games. But
I mean, I've never played XCOM.
Ooh, all right. Well, that's all right. That's all right. BioShock?
Nope.
Man.
I own like all the BioShock games, but I just never played them.
Mafia? Have you played any of the Mafia games?
No.
Okay, so you just haven't played a lot of their games. Hey, it is what it is. Have you ever played any other Private Division games, or?
I heard the Outer Worlds was really good, but no.
All right. Hey, well, it is what it is. That's Take-Two. A lot of games. I think most people are interested in the fact that Rockstar might say something. But we'll just have to wait and see.
GTA 5's coming to PS5 and Xbox One and Xbox Series X pretty soon. So yeah,
We'll see.
probably.
We'll see. All right, well, that's Take Two. We have a couple other companies here. I'm just going to kind of go over them. Mythical Games. I actually don't know much about Mythical Games at all. If people wanted to know, these are some of the games. Looks like they have a game called Blancos. I actually remember that game called Block Party. So actually, I'm not surprised that they're going to show up. Freedom Games. I've never heard of them either. So we can take a quick peek at them. They're a game publisher. Looks like mostly some like indie type games. Coromon, this literally looks like a Monster Tamer game. God Strike, To the Rescue, Ruin Raiders. Yeah, I've never heard of any of these games, but they definitely look like independent games, which is good. I think that Freedom Games is going to show up at E3 then because, I think it's important that these indie games actually get out there because I've never heard of any of these games before. Razer obviously is going to be there, so I'm sure we'll hear something about some new peripheral they made or something like that. And then we're back at Capcom. So we already talked about Capcom, so we're not going to talk about it much now, but putting that out there. Verizon, as far as I'm aware, Verizon doesn't have games. All right, looks like maybe they have some... interesting. World of Warships? Oh, okay, it's just a partnership. Threw me off for a second. Yeah, so my assumption is it's probably more of advertising. Maybe they have like a small thing going on, but I don't think there's going to be much there. In television, if I remember correctly, that's a console company. Apparently they also have games as well. Interesting. Well, I have no idea what these are, but I guess we're probably going to get information on their gaming console / peripherals. I don't know what this is, so this is going to be really interesting to see. Literally have no idea what's up with that. Finally, what you've all been waiting for. Gil, new reactions, Nintendo E3 showcase.
Yeah.
And Nintendo Treehouse Live.
Yeah.
Let's start with Nintendo E3 showcase. Unfortunately, I don't have... there's this Venn session. I don't know what that is. Nintendo E3 showcase. Let's go to Nintendo's thing. And let's read this. Nintendo Direct E3 2021. Tune in for roughly 40 minutes of info focused exclusively on software. Mostly releasing in 2021 for the Nintendo Switch system. New reactions. I know you want to see Pikmin. Gil, I'm going to let you take this one, man. I don't have a lot to say about Nintendo. I'm not the biggest Nintendo fan. So happy to hear what you
Why? Just don't really dive with their games or something.
To be honest, I actually don't think their stuff is as good as people think it is.
You know what? I agree.
I have a problem with it. I mean, so I'm a tech guy, right?
Yeah.
So I remember I had a GameCube. But my GameCube was my first real console. And then I got a N64. I actually backtracked. I got an N64, and then I got a PS2. And then I got a Wii. And then I got an Xbox 360. And I remember when the Wii came out, and I was like, wait, why is this so bad? Like, why isn't this good?
Right.
I had an Xbox 360, and I was like, dude, this thing is sick. Why does the Wii suck? Like, why are there no games for it? Why? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
What's going on? So I was getting, like, pretty frustrated, I was like, I don't understand, like, why this is. Then the Wii U comes out. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I'm good. And by the way, I grew up with Game Boys. That's what I grew up with, right? As a kid, I had a Game Boy Color, a Game Boy Advance, a Game Boy Advance SP, and I was a Game Boy Advance Micro. I mean, I was like a huge Game Boy fan. Grew up on Fire Emblem, Mario, Kirby, loved all that. Yeah, I just, after a while, I was like, I think I'm good. I don't really like Mario games. They don't tell a good story. You know, like, if you like jumping on mushrooms, that's cool. I mean, that's all you. That's fine. You know, in terms of gameplay, yeah, sure, it's fine. It's great. Why not? You know, Kirby doesn't really speak to me as it did when I was a child. You know, Fire Emblem is great, but I didn't have a 3DS, or I didn't have DSs ever, and there were no mainline games on anything outside of the Wii and the GameCube, so I was like, all right, I'm good. Yeah, I mean, I remember Star Fox, one of the Star Fox games came, I can't remember what it was, but it had some multiplayer, and I used to play that all the time, but then Star Fox took a different angle, and I was like, well, I guess I don't really care about Star Fox. So, yeah, it didn't feel like they grew with me. And I only cared about Pokemon because I liked the show. You know, I grew up with the show as a kid. So once I stopped watching the show, I didn't want to buy the games anymore because I didn't even know any of the characters or anything. So, yeah, Nintendo never really spoke to me after that, except literally Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem was the only thing that spoke to me at that point. And Smash. Yeah. I bought a Switch to play Smash. And I just bought Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah. For me, Nintendo's always been a big thing. I had a DS. Pokemon Platinum was the first game I played ever.
You are young.
I'm a young lad.
That is hysterical.
I mean, really, I didn't grow up playing video games, technically.
Gotcha.
I started, like, a little bit in there. I started playing games when Pokemon Platinum came out, which was like 2008 or something.
No idea.
I'll look it up right now. When did Pokemon Platinum come out? 2008. Yep, I completely guessed that. So, that's when I started playing games, and Pokemon Platinum. Pokemon's a big thing for me because that's what got me into video games in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. And Pokemon Platinum is like what I think to be the best Pokemon game ever.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it's what got me into games as a whole, and basically Gen 4 is what that is. And if you don't know, Gen 4 remakes got announced.
Okay. So you're hype.
There was a whole reveal trailer, and they're coming out later this year. That is the most anticipated game for me of the year.
Wow, okay.
Screw.
You're like trying to think of games. Screw.
Yeah. Screw Lego Star Wars.
All right.
Screw Intergrade. I want Pokemon.
I don't know about that. Relax.
Brilliant Pearl.
Relax.
I mean, I don't know much about Final Fantasy, so I don't know the hype really. But I know it's a big deal. But
you will.
I'm hoping for it.
Look, man, all I ever wanted was a Mario Kart Double Dash 2.
Yeah.
And I literally never got it. And I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm done. I Fire Emblem's out. That's fine. I'll play Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
That's okay. But even then, I was like, well, I don't need to play it. You know, it's okay.
Yeah. And then they announced a completely different Pokemon game called Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is like a Breath of the Wild.
Does that look good to you?
It looks good.
It does?
It's set in the feudal version of Gen 4's region. Feudal Sinnoh is the region. I mean, it doesn't look very good.
No, it
right now.
doesn't. It does not look good.
Yeah.
It looks.
So it comes
bad.
out early next. comes out early next year. I'm hoping they obviously polish up the graphics a little bit, but I'm excited for it because we've never had a Pokemon game like this. But they do need to polish up those graphics a little bit.
I just don't understand. Like, I mean, obviously we don't have information on this yet, right? Like,
Yeah.
all it shows is someone in grass throwing a thing, and then there's like battles, but we don't really see it. Like, I don't know. Like, this did not. I wasn't like, oh my god. I was like, all right, like, I don't know.
You're
this-
also not like a diehard Pokemon fan, though.
True, but I was. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I literally grew up with Yellow. I played Yellow. I played every game from Yellow all the way up until Fire Red, which is a lot of games, by the way. Like, it's not a small amount of games. Like, I remember when I played Pokemon Coliseum, and I was like, oh my god, my Pokemon are real. Like, that's because that was like the best looking Pokemon at the time, right? And I play Temtem now, and I was actually about to get a friend of mine just got Pokemon Sword, so I was going to get Pokemon Shield, and I was like, oh yeah, like for sure. But I was like, yeah, I don't know though. I don't know if it's really worth me getting. I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I wasn't really sure.
Yeah. Pokemon Sword and Shield. There's like some stuff about it. The story of that game isn't like anything special. It's all right. Graphically and gameplay, it is the best looking Pokemon.
No, definitely. I mean, hopefully, right? I mean, I would hope. I just when I saw Arceus or whatever it's called, and I was looking at it and I was like, what is this game? That's what I said. I was like, what is it? Like, I have no idea. Like, do you still battle? I see the Pokemon battling, but like, they're not. I don't really understand what's going on there. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like they were like, we have another Pokemon game hype, and I was like, yeah, I guess, man. Like, but I want to know more first. So, but it's fair. It's fair to be excited about it, though. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
All right. What else? Pokemon. What else?
Pokemon, all that stuff. I am fully expecting to see the next DLC character for Smash here.
Okay. I do love Smash. I mean, I'll pick it up and play like single player all the time because I'm just, I just like Smash. But okay, Smash.
Because like with this most recent Fighter Pass, it's lit.
Yeah, Sephiroth.
I mean, we get. I mean, besides the like ARMS character.
I mean,
we got
whatever. You know,
Min. Yeah.
It's
got
Nintendo.
Steve and Alex from Minecraft.
That was fire.
And Sephiroth,
that's
which no one saw coming.
Which, by the way, if you've played the classic mode, I'm a big classic mode guy. So I go and I pick up the character. I want to beat each one in classic mode. So I go and grab Sephiroth. I play classic mode. It's a boss rush. All you do is fight bosses because Sephiroth's so OP. I was like, yes, let's go. Let's go. I love that game.
Then they got Pyra and Mythra from Xenoblade, which a lot of people wanted.
Yeah, that's fine. It was good. I like them.
Yeah, but 10 and 11.
Who do you think we're getting?
That is the question. You know, I mean, I'd say the
Kratos?
two. No, absolutely not. I'd say the two most. I could see him being like a Mii Fighter costume.
The Fortnite guy?
No. I could see Dante from Devil May Cry. That's probably like the most requested person right now.
He was in. I don't think we'll see that. He was in PlayStation All Stars.
Okay.
So I don't think he'll be in another fighting game. I think that would be too weird.
You never know. That's like the most requested person. Do I think it's realistically going to happen? No. And then obviously everyone's like, please add Goku. And I'm like, dude, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's got to be a game.
Right.
That's a game first, I think.
Yeah. A lot of people want Doom Guy.
Because
Master...
of the...
Yeah, or Master Chief. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's just like you can wish for whatever you want, we have no idea
Yeah.
what they're going to do because they added Sephiroth, and no one expected they were ever going to add
But
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth, Cloud was in it. You know, I mean, Sephiroth
Right.
makes sense. They haven't done any. The longest one, I think, is Minecraft. I think
Steve,
the
yeah.
rest of them, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, oh, yep, here's another one. Oh, okay, this is interesting. This
I
was
mean,
Minecraft. I was like, what the heck?
all
that
this
was
crap
cool.
happened when Smash first came out and they announced Joker.
That was a good one, too. Yeah.
Dude,
Which is
that
crazy
was-
because Persona 5 is not even on a Nintendo thing.
right? It's
Yeah.
PlayStation only.
Yeah.
So it's like that was the moment where people were like,
Could be
okay, it's
anything.
like could be anything.
Yeah. Also, new
Our
reaction.
guesses-
New reaction
yeah.
says the Prince from Katamari. By the way, I'm a big Katamari fan. That would be so cool if the Prince was
Yeah.
in there. He's just throwing Katamaris and like random crap at people.
Yeah.
That would be so good. I want a new Metal Gear. I assume you mean like Revengeance. You said Rep. Like a Metal Gear character in there. Again, I don't think we'll see Raiden because again, Raiden was also in PlayStation All Stars. And I know PlayStation All Stars isn't a thing anymore, but it would just be weird. I don't think PlayStation would be happy about that. And I don't think people want to ruin relationships with PlayStation.
Yeah.
So I don't
But
see that.
for me, I think my most wanted
Same thing, reactions. Just weaker. Come on.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, everybody says that. Everybody says
Yeah.
Sora, yeah. I don't know. Maybe. It's another Square Enix,
Maybe.
right?
Yeah. I'm actually looking at the top requested Smash Brothers in the US.
Interesting.
Crash Bandicoot is number 2.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Owned by Activision, that could totally happen.
Mhm.
I don't see why not.
It from 10 to 1. It's Bandana D
Who's that?
from Kirby.
Oh,
like a
Bandana
little-
D, the little goat. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening. He's like
Yeah.
a spirit or something.
Yeah. 2B from Nier. The girl.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly who
Yeah.
2B is. I don't know if they put her in there. She says a little bit too much. I don't think Bayonetta is technically always covered up.
Yeah.
2B's not. I don't think they can
Yeah.
put 2B in there. I mean, that would be awesome. They put her.
Yeah.
Oh, but she's in Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
I think if you're already in a fighting game, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Jack
feel
and
like
Dexter. New reaction says Jack and Dexter. That'd be dope.
Ratchet and Clank.
Also, Jack and Dexter was also in, if I remember correctly, was also in PlayStation All Stars. Ratchet and Clank, I don't believe were.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening though either. But you never know, man.
In Brazil, they went heavy from Team Fortress 2
That is so random.
and Agumon from Digimon.
Hey, he like digivolves. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that'd be so cool. You like hold down B and he like transforms. Oh my god, dude,
Yeah,
that would be
but-
great. Even if they just added one Digimon in there, like
Right.
it doesn't even have to be Agumon. It could just be great, Metal War Greymon or like somebody who's ubiquitous, like
Yeah.
Agumon probably is it. Anyway.
Then the 2 elephants in the room. I'm done talking about Smash Pokemon.
Yeah, we gotta move on.
2 elephants in the room. Nintendo Switch Pro. Rumors going around.
Yeah.
And Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Trailer for the new game.
So let me read this real quick for Treehouse
Yeah.
Live. Stick around after Nintendo Direct presentation for roughly 3 hours of deep dives into select games with those who know them best, as Nintendo of America's Treehouse staff and guests stream live gameplay and commentary. So I don't think we're seeing the Nintendo Switch Pro. It literally says software on both.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see the Pro. But maybe they'll announce it somewhere else. I think Nintendo's a little weird, so honestly, like, who knows? I truly think it'll be a Pokemon fighter. I feel like we've gotten a lot of Pokemon fighters. I don't. I mean, but we'll see. Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
That is a possibility. I do feel like we could learn more about the new one. I do think if they did it, they might announce it at the very end and announce that it's for the Pro, or announce that this was shot on a Pro or captured on a Pro. The reason I say that is because Legend of Zelda is a system seller. So I think it's one of those things where it's like,
when most people bought.
That's why I bought it. That's why I originally bought it. Yeah. Oh, I don't have my case, but my case is Breath of the Wild case. So yeah. Well, yeah. I honestly don't have anything else to say about Nintendo. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not anti Nintendo for the longest time, and I still kind of feel this way. I want Nintendo to just become a software company. They're going to keep pushing random hardware. And I know some people feel really strongly like, oh my God, like the Switch is the best. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you could say that. But like the Vita was better. The Vita just didn't gain traction. So not better than the Switch, excuse me, but it was better. It was a better handheld than the DS and all that stuff. So
Let's say the Vita.
I love the Vita, man. The Vita was so good. The PSP was excellent. So, it's not, PlayStation decided to stop. And Microsoft decided never to get involved in handhelds. And then, of course, you have, phones, which I think is the reason why no one is getting into them, because, they don't care about all of that.
Yeah.
But that's Nintendo. Anything else from Nintendo?
That's all I care about. So.
I would be like I said, I want a Double Dash 2, a Double Dash remake. I'm okay with that. I want Double Dash, and the only other thing that I would be really interested in is, oh my God, what is it called? I don't know why I can't think of what it's called. Star Fox Games. Let's just look it up. What's up, Mex? Thank you so much for joining us. Assault. Star Fox Assault. I don't know why we haven't gotten a Star Fox game. Like a normal Star Fox game. I know they gave Star Fox the Platinum, and that one just tanked. Thank God I never played it. But Star Fox Assault was my jam. And I'm assuming you didn't play this because this was 2005. But Star Fox Assault, to me... And Star Fox Adventures was also great. But I'm always surprised that they never really added anything in there for that. Mex says that Nintendo needs adult games. I'm with you on that one. The only adult game that they have is two. They have two, which is No More Heroes, which I know it's exclusive, but I don't know if it's developed. I don't know if it's developed in house. And then they have Bayonetta now. Right? Which, hey, if we hear about Bayonetta 3, okay. Yeah. If we hear about Bayonetta 3, let's go. But anyway, this was Star Fox Assault. It literally was a third-person shooter. And it was land, air, not sea, but land and air combat, and it was third person. So a third-person shooter, you could run around on your feet, grab guns, shoot stuff. And it was honestly an awesome third-person shooter. I was always surprised that they never brought this back in any way. I don't know if it didn't sell well or what, but I think it was received well. I loved it. And then you could get in your ship. You could get into a landmaster. Then it was Adventure was good, but this, to me, was like the best game. And it had PvP, and it was fun. So I was always disappointed that they didn't come out with another one of these. And of course, Metroid Prime. I grew up with Metroid Prime, as well as Metroid Fusion, and just the Metroid games. So that's Nintendo. We'll see what happens. Anyway, from that point on, guys, that's Nintendo. Next, we have Bandai Namco. This is an interesting one. Gil, do you like Bandai Namco games? Are you a fan?
I like Bandai Namco games if they're good Dragon Ball games.
Okay.
I mean, I like anime games, but I I know Elden Ring's a big thing.
I tried to get away from it before you saw it. I was like, oh, we'll talk
I
about
don't-
Elden Ring later.
I don't know what it is, but I know it's like a super
Oh,
big
don't
thing.
worry, we'll talk about it. Don't worry. Yeah, so I'm excited for Bandai Namco a lot. Number one is Scarlet Nexus. This is a classic anime action RPG. It's not made by Platinum, but it's one of those games where you're like, ooh, let's see if they actually can get to where Platinum is. That's how I feel about it. So very excited about Scarlet Nexus. It's very anime. Very excited. There's Tales of Arise. I was in love with Tales of games when I was a kid. They did not get better as time went on. So Tales of Arise apparently is kind of this brand new style of a Tales game. So I'm excited to see a Tales game, just be much better moving forward. And then, of course, as Mex mentioned earlier, Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring. Oh, Elden Ring. If you don't know about Elden Ring, like Gil's been living under a rock. Elden Ring is a mix of... Hold on, let me bring up the actual... There we go. The developer is From Software, and if you know From Software, those are the guys that make Dark Souls and Demon Souls, and they're making a game with George R.R. Martin, the guy that made, of course, Game of Thrones. So this is a huge deal. Everybody has been freaking out about this game the second that it was announced, and we haven't heard anything for quite a while. So I'm with Mex on this one. Very excited to see some Elden Ring. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something. I know Jeff Keighley's been working really hard on getting Elden Ring information, so we'll just have to wait and see if we actually get some. Again, I think we'll see Scarlet Nexus, maybe Little Nightmares 2. I think that actually came out already, right? I'm not sure. I really like Little Nightmares 1. I played the beginning of it, really enjoyed it. Like I said, Tales of Arise. I think that's about it for me. Doraemon's Story of Seasons, I think, might have came out already, but that's kind of cool too. Alicization, I didn't know there was an Alicization game that came out. But yeah, lots of anime games, right? Lots and lots of anime games. They're kind of known for not making good anime games.
Yeah.
So that's rough. But Code Vein, I heard, was pretty good. People still seem to like Jump Force. I mean, I know it's not the best thing in the world, but Ni no Kuni, I love Ni no Kuni. Big fan. Haven't played the second one. Katamari Damacy. Love Katamari. God Eater is basically a Monster Hunter game. But there are some games in here. Soul Calibur. We were just talking about Soul Calibur earlier. So there are a lot of games in
Fighters.
here. Huh?
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yes, yeah. All the Dragon Ball games, right? All the Dragon Ball games. All the anime games you could ever think of. And then, of course, Dark Souls, right? So you can't forget about Dark Souls 2. I didn't know that they published Tekken. I did not know that. They publish Tekken and they publish Soul Calibur? Yo, that's crazy. That explains the crossover sometimes. All right. So, yeah, that's what I'm excited for. Elden Ring, Scarlet Nexus, Tales of Arise, and then who knows what else we'll get, basically. I don't know if they're going to do a new Tekken and Soul Calibur. Honestly, I don't foresee them doing that. I don't think it's going to get much hype. Maybe it will, but I don't think it will. Anything else from Bandai Namco that you're feeling, Gilliard? Digimon Survive?
No.
I don't know.
I've always been loyal to Pokemon.
They are not the same. I hate when people say that.
I know.
They're not the same. Get out of here. Leave. No,
I've just never been a big Digimon fan.
I love Digimon. Digimon's so much better than Pokemon. The show. Oh my god. Digimon was lit. The best. All right. Next is Eureka Games. I originally thought I had no idea what this company was. Then I realized I definitely do. The reason I think they're going to be talking about games for E3 is because of Zhuan Yuan, I believe is how you say that, which is a Chinese game, a game about Chinese history and mythology. And this game, I believe, is coming to PlayStation. It's coming to console for the first time, and it's coming to PlayStation. So I think that's why they're talking about this. But they also made Neon Abyss, which is actually a pretty cool game. If you like the classic kind of top-down, side scroller, crazy guns, as you guys can see here. This game obviously received very positively. So something to definitely look into if you guys like that kind of stuff. Also Scourgebringer, which I had heard of and then never heard of again. But it was actually released. So it's a fast action roguelike game. So really this could be anything. I have no idea what we're going to get moving forward with these guys. But, they've released some games before. Literally, it looks like just 4 of them. And I'm excited to see what other games they might talk about. And then GameSpot will have their own spot as well, no pun intended. And then there will be the E3 award show. So that is all of E3. E3 ends on Tuesday, June 15th. And that is everything. I know there was a lot, guys. I know, obviously, this was literally 3 hours. I did not think it was going to be this long. Of course, I said it was going to be an hour and a half, and it happens to be twice as long with 2 cutouts. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. I really do. So Saturday, tomorrow, starts this whole thing. I don't think I'll be streaming tomorrow. We'll probably just review some of the cool games that were announced. I'll probably just watch it afterwards. And then when the week starts, Netflix Geeked Week, Battlefield 2021 reveal. Again, on Chain Gear Gaming, we will be covering this. Very excited for that. June 10th on Thursday, we will be covering Summer Game Fest as well as the RPG reveal. Friday, June 11th, there's the Coke or Koch Gaming Primetime. We'll definitely be covering that alongside the IGN Expo. And whatever special thing is happening with Netflix Geeked Week for the Summer Games Fest. And then we are straight into E3. Devolver Digital, another showcase. From Guerrilla Collective, Wholesome Direct, Ubisoft Forward. Hopefully we get that quarantine, which is probably why they changed it from Rainbow Six Quarantine. You might as well call it Rainbow Six COVID. Like, they're definitely not keeping that. Gearbox, where we'll probably see the Tiny Tina spinoff called Tina's Wonderlands. Then Devious Eyes Entertainment Showcase. We have no idea what's coming from there. GamesBeat is going to have a session as well. Then it's the big hitter Xbox Bethesda Games Showcase. We are going to review that. Square Enix, Future Games, PC Games, Warner Bros., Back 4 Blood, 24 Entertainment. Monday with Take-Two, Marvel strategy game probably going to be announced there. Mythical Games, Freedom Games, Razer, Capcom, and Verizon. Intellivision, then Session, which again I don't know what that is. Limited Run Games. And then Tuesday, which I know a lot of you guys are excited about, for Nintendo, with their E3 showcase, Treehouse Live, Bandai Namco, Eureka Games, GameSpot, and the award show. Now, if you guys are wondering, what's after all this? For some reason, if this wasn't enough for you, if you were wondering, well, what else is there? Post E3, right after Tuesday, June 15th, Steam is going to have their own event called Steam Next Fest. This is very interesting. I don't know if this existed before, but it is interesting to say the least. Celebrating upcoming games all week long, 6 days, hundreds of demos, oodles of live streams. We've renamed Steam Game Festival, so that's what it is. I was like, I knew Steam Game Festival existed, but we've renamed Steam Game Festival to more directly communicate its focus, announcing Steam Next Fest, a multi-day celebration of upcoming games. So we're going to get demos, we're going to get live streams. We'll see what happens. If there are some really interesting demos, I will stream them if people are interested. But it seems like they already have some ads for this. You can see there's some action games that you're going to be able to play. I'm already seeing things that look awesome. Fallen Aces looks dope. I don't know what this is, but I want to play it. I want to play that. Grime, that looks kind of cool. I don't know if I want to play it. We'll see. Oh, okay, that looks... Oh, hold up. Okay, maybe I do want to play that. All right, well, we'll probably be covering this as well because this is much more impressive than I thought it was. So Next Fest, we'll probably take a look at. So obviously, you guys might want to stay in tune for that as well. And then a month later, we're looking at July with EGX Rezzed. If you guys don't know EGX, you probably do know about PAX. I love going to PAX. EGX is London's version of PAX. Same people, but it's the UK version. This is going to be live stream. I believe that it is fully digital. So we'll be covering this as well. PAX usually has game announcements, so I'm sure when we get closer, we'll see what companies are going to be there. As you can see, it doesn't actually say what companies are going to be there or anything. My assumption is because it's too close to E3, so we'll probably learn more information after E3 about that. So get excited if you do like PAX. And then Monday, July 19th, so a couple of days after that, is virtual GDC, which is the Game Developers Conference. Usually there are some really interesting things that come out of GDC. I'm a huge fan of GDC, but a lot of it is more developer focused. So maybe we'll get game announcements. More likely there will be, game developer focused things announced there. Maybe you'll have a showcase. Actually, PlayStation's been at GDC for a while now, showing off their technology. So it's possible we might see something there. And then the final thing is July 22nd with EA Play Live. Now, this one's very interesting as well. Again, over a month later, they're doing EA Play. This surprises me, but it is interesting. The reason this surprises me is because we are going to get an announcement for Battlefield. And then afterwards, it seems like maybe a month later, we'll learn more about other games. If we take a look at all of their... Actually, if we look at coming soon games, maybe this will help us. Lost in Random, I know, is one that people are kind of excited about. But you can see here, there's only 3 games that are coming soon from EA that they're showcasing at least. But for them to still do EA Play, it might mean that they have a lot still to talk about. So maybe we'll learn more about a new Mass Effect or a new Dragon Age. For those that know, I love Dragon Age. And there is a new Dragon Age on the way. We know that. So that could be interesting. And obviously, once again, like Mass Effect, they just announced, they just unleashed the newest Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, I believe, pack. So that could be interesting. But yeah, keep your eyes open for EA with EA Play Live. And we'll talk about EA Play Live when that gets closer in July. So guys, summer is really, really, really jam-packed this year.
Indeed.
More than it usually is, because before it was just E3 and you go home. Now it's Summer Game Fest and E3 and EGX Rezzed and GDC and EA Play Live and who knows what else we'll get in August and moving forward. I know that Tokyo Game Show will be a thing at some point, maybe in August or September. So there's a lot. Gil, that was a lot. This was long.
It's a lot.
Any final words before we let these lovely people go?
Next time we do this After Dark Ghosts and Guardians, we're going to talk about Game of the Year and reviewing. My idea was like reviewing Game of the Years that we've gotten at the main award show, the contenders, what caused them to get nominated, who won and why, and then talk about Game of the Year this year. So yeah,
Cyberpunk. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on our first episode of Ghosts and Guardians After Dark. We do not anticipate these episodes being this long in the future. We had to give it a shot, though. We had to see how it was going to go, and I'm glad that we did. Obviously, a lot of this is just me talking about, the awesomeness that is the industry and what we're going to see, all the hype. So I'm really excited about this. I'm glad you were along for the ride, Gil. And New Reactions, Mexican Sin, thank you guys so much for coming. If you guys are watching this afterwards, please let us know what you guys are interested in seeing, for E3 or Summer Games Fest or any of this stuff. Even EA Play Live, if there's something you're interested in, maybe it's Apex, let us know in the comment section or in the chat. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a blast. We'll see you guys online. And of course, we will catch you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.